Chapter 902. Luo Feng was touched by the words, qualified to be ranked among the universe's super great beings. These words were uttered by a universe supreme master, a great being of another race, who could rival huge axe creator. In the eyes of a great being of another race, to be called a universe super great being, one had to at least be a universe master. The powerful figure of the alien race had two disciples. The first, Puti, was a universe master. The second, the leader of the flame god race, was also a universe master. Luo Feng was about to become the third disciple. He probably had hopes of becoming a universe master too. This made Luo Feng's heart burn. Universe master reaching pinnacle universe knights like Tianshi Palace leader and Shi Luo duo were already considered universe overlord. If they were to take another step into the universe master level with time and space in his hands, he could reverse the flow of time and space to revive a warrior, allowing an entire race to have an endless life force. The earthling race, the flame god race, they are all my children. The towering old man gazed down at Luo Feng, his voice rumbling. You've passed many secret tests and passed the Star Tower inheritance test. Even if you're my disciple, you'll probably be my last one. Luo Feng was shocked. Last disciple? Who could say for sure how long the future would be? This great being seemed to have confirmed that he only had 3 disciples. Don't be shocked. The majestic old man's gaze was like the sun, shining straight into Luo Feng's soul. For you and your second senior, early on in the universe's evolution, I already had plans and plans. I spent countless years acquiring treasures, and most of them were given to the 2 of you. More than half? Luo Feng was shocked. For example, even if the entire human race used all their strength to create this star tower, even if you had my forging skills, how many could you create? The giant elder turned to look at Puti. On the other hand, I helped Puti the least. Puti bowed. Teacher, without your help, I would have remained an undying for my entire life. Even without me, you would still have become a universe knight. The towering elder shook his head. Back then, I took in many servants, and all of them were extremely talented. I helped all of them, and they all had similar talent. However, they all became universe knights. Only you became a universe master. Unfortunately, every supreme treasure in the universe has very strict requirements for recognizing an owner. For your second and third junior brothers, I started preparing before they were born. Disciple already has a supreme treasure, Puti said. Yours is nothing. Among the 6 pinnacle races and the various powers of the universe masters, your treasure is only of an ordinary standard. The towering old man shook his head. I'm preparing a supreme treasure for you. I've collected it for countless eras, and I've already taken a rough shape. I reckon that in another 10 million eras there will be hope. Puti prostrated in excitement and said gratefully, What teacher has done, this disciple will do his best to repay. Haha, my disciple is naturally extraordinary. The towering elder laughed. I just hope that one of you 3 can catch up to me. Haha. That would be a great story in the universe. Teacher and disciple are all universe supreme masters. Ha ha ha! Luo Feng listened and was convinced. The number of disciples accepted by this powerful being was very few. Furthermore, the second and third disciples had each taken the initiative to guide and nurture a new race, creating secret arts and so on, and selecting the most outstanding ones to become his disciples. One could see how stringent this great being's selection of disciples was. If he hadn't taken the initiative to nurture the 2 races, the towering elder would have chosen the only universe master to become his first disciple. Other than that, even with the trillions of races in the universe, countless eras, countless geniuses, the great being didn't take in a single disciple. Primal Chaos City leader was different. He shouldered the responsibility of the human race, and as long as there were some super geniuses or exceptional beings, the human universe masters would take them in as disciples one by one, resulting in a pile of true disciples. The number of disciples in name was even more shocking. Even huge axe creator was no exception. With race ties, that was how it was. And the great being was a unique life form in the universe. Without race ties, no matter how many geniuses you were, he couldn't be bothered to teach them. The races he nurtured were like his own children, that was why he took care of them. Disciple Luofeng, you haven't called me teacher yet. The towering elder looked at Luofeng. Luofeng knelt down respectfully and shouted excitedly, "Teacher!" This powerful being of a different race was the guide of the Earth race. It could be said that he was the creator of the Earth race. Without this powerful being of a different race, there would be no Earth race. Good! You are my disciple, and as your teacher, I have to do my duty. The towering elder's voice rumbled as he looked down at Luofeng. I have 3 habits when teaching my disciples. Firstly, I like to prepare the best resources in the universe for my disciples. Secondly, I won't teach any technique. Thirdly, I won't care if you live or die, and I won't reverse time and space to revive you after you die. Luofeng was stunned. Not teaching techniques? Not caring about life or death? A true super expert can't be taught, Yi Futian said. The towering elder said solemnly. Everything depends on you. Any universe master has to create their own techniques to reach that level. If you have your teacher protecting you at all times, you won't become a great warrior. When I teach my disciples, I don't teach techniques, I don't care if they live or die, I only provide resources and treasures. The towering elder said. If you fall on the way to becoming an absolute warrior, I will choose another candidate from the Earth race to accept the life or death inheritance and find another 3rd disciple. The 2 races I nurture are destined to have a leader, and there may not only be one leader. You can only be said to be the leader of this generation, and I hope you will always be the leader. His voice rumbled and entered Luofeng's soul. And this great being's voice seemed to have endless power, making one involuntarily believe him. Understood. Luofeng said respectfully. You understand the theory. No matter how powerful the teacher is, no matter how many resources and treasures are provided, if the disciple doesn't train, then even becoming undying is impossible. The towering elder said solemnly. External resources are important, and one's own hard work is even more important. However, the stronger one is, the less useful external help is. With endless treasures, no matter how bad one's talent is, as long as one trains, one can become undying. However, to become a universe knight, that's a harsh requirement on one's own hard work. Becoming a universe master is even more difficult. If you become a universe master, you want to take another step forward and reach my level. No treasure will be of any use to you. Your 1st and 2nd senior brothers have been stuck at this step for countless years. Among your human race, other than huge axe creator, none of the others have taken the final step. I understand, I will work hard. Luofeng was excited. Many great warriors were afraid of not having enough resources. Why did the pinnacle races and superpowers fight? Why did they fight? It was all for resources. To nurture geniuses, they needed resources. To grow, they also needed resources. With resources, it was like having a foundation, the rest would depend on one's own hard work. And what this great being had prepared for Luofeng was to give him the right to be ranked amongst the universe's absolute warriors. This qualification was those resources that made one's heart tremble. I've prepared 2 true treasures for you and your 2nd senior. A total of 4 true treasures. 3 of the supreme treasures are about the same level. Only the Star Tower. Of your 2 supreme treasures, the Star Tower is very special. It's even more powerful than your 2nd senior brother's supreme treasure. The towering old man sighed emotionally. In the past, I spent countless precious materials and treasures to refine the supreme treasure, Star Pagoda. However, something special happened in the middle. Something out of my expectations caused the Star Pagoda's power to greatly increase. It was one of the strongest treasures in the universe. Even though its power increased greatly, its basic recognition was thousands to tens of thousands of times harder. In order for the Star Tower to recognize its owner, I specially guided and nurtured the descendants of Earthlings who had stronger willpower and consciousness in their souls. Even so, the first and second candidates still failed. Back then, the Flame God race easily made it recognize its master, unlike you, who had to work so hard. Luo Feng sighed within. Yes, it was tough. When he recalled the 6,000 years of torment, every second felt as long as a year. These 6,000 years were more difficult than 100 million years of normal life. It was as if he was in an endless purgatory with no end in sight. He had endured all the difficulties, persevered, and persevered. In the end, only his obsession with his loved ones kept him going, until he got weaker and weaker. Luckily, he succeeded at the last moment. The Star Tower's power is extremely strong. Due to the special changes, even I don't know its limits. Just the basic recognition is already so difficult, to activate it is much harder. The towering elder said. Luo Feng understood that the basic form of the Sha Wu wings required one to comprehend the first level of the beast god transformation. The Sha Wu wings had very little use for universe masters. However, the Star Tower was a treasure suitable for universe masters. One of the strongest treasures in the universe. Without its master controlling it, the universe masters were helpless. Even the universe masters of the 4 pinnacle races couldn't do anything about it. The conditions to use it were naturally much harsher than the Sha Wu wings. Your human teacher, the Primal Chaos City leader, is one of the top universe masters in the vast universe. Even your second senior is only barely comparable to him, or maybe even slightly weaker. However, if you become a universe master in the future with these 2 treasures, especially the Star Tower, it's enough to make you comparable to the city leader, or even suppress him. This is the power of the strongest true treasures. The towering elder said. The Star Tower is one of the true treasures, and the other one I prepared for you is called the Force Armor. Force Armor. Luo Feng was stunned. The Force Armor has always been within the Flame God race, and your second senior is temporarily in charge of it. This Force Armor with special resources, it can produce large amounts of armor pearls of varying strengths. They are the Soldier, General, King, and Emperor Armor Pearls. These are very suitable for the Flame God race, but they are only used by Universe Knights and below. At most, they can only increase the overall strength of the race. That Force Armor is the true treasure, and it's suitable for Universe Masters. Its power is limitless, and it's your second true treasure. Luo Feng was overwhelmed with emotions. Soldier, General, King, Emperor, they were all produced from the Force Armor? One is the Force Armor, and the other is the Star Tower, which is even more terrifying than the Force Armor. The Great Being prepared these 2 treasures for the leader of the Earth race to dominate the universe. These 2 are even more intrepid than the Sha Wu wings, and they're enough to make universe masters go crazy for them. I hope the conditions for using them aren't too harsh. Luo Feng began to worry. With his strength, could he use such terrifying treasures? Chapter 903. Within the palace surrounded by countless ceiling stars, the majestic old man gazed at Luo Feng, speaking slowly. It was very intimate, however his voice resounded within the palace. As a unique life form in the universe, his body was naturally 90,000 kilometers tall. He was used to speaking with a voice like thunder. Disciple of your 2 treasures, one is the Star Pagoda, the other is the armor. Your second senior brother's 2 treasures, one is the Flame God Halberd, the other is the Soul Energy. Back when I guided and nurtured the Flame God race, the Flame God race's natural talents were extremely high, they were natural fighters, and the leader of the race, which is your second senior brother, was extremely proficient in close combat, possessing endless power. and the flame god halberd is a treasure used by a fighter, and the soul energy is an extremely special treasure related to the soul. Once it's infused into the soul, it can make the soul even stronger. Luo Feng was shocked. The supreme treasure, the origin soul? It can strengthen the soul? Your second senior brother's body aspect is extremely strong, compared to his body. His soul aspect is more ordinary, comparable to a normal universe lord. Only by relying on the soul energy can he be even stronger. That way, the soul energy caused his soul aspect to become even stronger. The flame god halberd made his battle strength even more intrepid. Currently, he's an absolute overlord in the vast universe, extremely proficient in battle. Many races don't want to mess with him. Luo Feng nodded as he listened. He was filled with respect, creating an overlord in the universe. It was unbelievable. However, I'm not satisfied. The majestic old man looked at Luo Feng with a gleam of pride. Hence, there's the earth bloodline. Even though the body's talent is strong, there are still ways to change the bloodline and raise the genes. And I even created the 9 calamity manuals that are resisted by the universe origin laws, allowing the normal genes of Earth to become comparable to the rare and powerful life forms of the universe. The golden horned beast you've possessed is considered a pinnacle bloodline. Its physical attack is only 10 times that of a human's. And the 9 calamity manuals, the first level is 3 times, the June 2nd times, the December 3rd times. Just training to the 3rd level allows a human's body to surpass the pinnacle bloodline golden horned beast. The 4th level, 5th level, as you continue training, at least the common bloodline life forms of the universe won't be able to compare to you. Like the golden horned beast, it is still a normal race to be able to reproduce and pass down its inheritance. The towering old man sighed. And in the cosmos, there are some unique life forms that have yet to be born and have yet to be inherited. Since the birth and evolution of the universe, some life forms may only exist in 2 or 3 life forms in the entire universe. Some life forms are even unique. The more powerful and the more heaven-defying a life form is, the fewer there are. For example, the blood river power you obtained was formed from the blood of a beast god. The towering elder sighed. The beast deity is a unique life form in the universe. It is born as an embodiment of fused laws and possesses extremely domineering combat strength among the lords of the universe. Can you imagine being born as the lord of the universe? Luo Feng was stunned. Special life forms? He understood a little when he was collecting information. That was a life form that was born in some special environment in the universe. It was impossible for them to reproduce or pass down their inheritance. Life forms that were unable to reproduce could not be considered a race. Like the golden horned beast, even though it was rare, it could still reproduce. Passing it down from generation to generation, after countless eras, it could still produce large amounts of absolute warriors. However, some special life forms, like the beast deity, there was only one of them in the universe. Since it couldn't reproduce, naturally it couldn't form a race. The special life forms of the universe usually grow slowly from being weak. Like the beast deity, an embodiment of the fused laws, being naturally strong, is extremely rare. The towering elder gazed at Luo Feng. These special life forms, their genes are 100 times or even 1,000 times stronger than humans, obviously far surpassing the golden horned beast. Luo Feng nodded. The golden horned beast belonged to the universe's strongest bloodline. It referred to the bloodline that could reproduce from generation to generation. And these special life forms, there were many that surpassed the golden horned beast. It was just that their numbers were pitifully low. Like the beast deity or the powerful warriors of the other races, they were all unique in the universe. With the 9 calamity manuals, it's equivalent to creating a special life form. It's a pity this 9 calamity manuals can only be trained by one person, and it has to be a blood and flesh life form that has the soul of Earth. The towering elder said, "My expectations of you are very high. You have the 9 calamity manuals, your genes and life forms are noble. In the future, you will have a powerful god body and soul. And as an elite of the Earth race that's hard to find in countless eras, your willpower and consciousness are extremely strong. Consciousness is the general of spirit energy, and willpower is the commander of consciousness. A strong willpower and consciousness will allow your soul to unleash 10 to 100 times the power. Strong body, strong soul, strong willpower and consciousness. Whether it's the body or soul, there are many ways to improve. Only willpower and consciousness depends on your heart, treasures and techniques are useless. The towering elder exclaimed. Hence after I learned my lesson, I guided and nurtured you earthlings. You earthlings have an easier time improving your mental state. Even though your body's talent is considered average in the entire human race, and is at the bottom in the vast universe, your willpower and consciousness is strong enough to look down on the countless races in the universe. Luo Feng nodded. In terms of mental state, the earthlings indeed looked down on the countless races in the universe. I've given you 2 treasures. Calamity armor. Even though your body is strong, when you become a true warrior, it's still weaker than your soul. Hence you've used the calamity armor to improve. Star Tower, soul, willpower, and consciousness are all strong. Naturally, you should walk the path of spirit reader controller or illusionist. Right now, your body is strong, but when you reach undying, your soul will completely shine. This Star Tower is an incomparably suitable treasure for you. Your second senior and you, a total of 4 treasures, of which the Star Tower is the most complicated. You can slowly understand it later. I'll bring you to a place now. The towering elder rumbled and stood up. Teacher, where are we going? Luo Feng was curious. You'll know when you get there. The towering elder took 1 step and reached the center of the hall. In the center of the hall, a warped pathway appeared. The first disciple Universe Lord Pu Ti and the third disciple Earth Leader Luo Feng followed behind. One of them entered the distorted spatial passageway. The pathway warped. The 3 great warriors flew like lightning through the pathway, reaching a mysterious region after a while. Hua hua hua, a blurry colored space. At a glance, water droplets of different colors were slowly floating in the endless space. The towering old man appeared in this space with Puti and Luo Feng. This is one of the spaces within the Star Tower. The towering elder pointed at the various colored water droplets floating in the endless space. Luo Feng, do you know what these are? Luo Feng looked carefully. With a glance, there were over 1,000,000 water droplets of various colors. With just a glance, there were over 1,000,000 of them. They were densely packed, scattered throughout the endless space, floating and floating. This is your Earth's future. The towering elder exclaimed. Earth's future. Luo Feng held his breath, looking at the millions of water droplets. The towering elder nodded. The calamity armor I created for you and the soul source for your second senior, their actual power hasn't reached their level yet, they're both slightly weaker. The main thing is these 2 treasures, both contain the ability to nurture their children. I used over half of the materials to create them, that's to give them the ability to nurture their children. The calamity armor nurtures the soldier armor, general armor, emperor armor and emperor armor. The soul source nurtures the soldier soul, general soul, emperor soul and emperor soul. Of course these names are just code names, just to differentiate the 4 different children. The towering old man smiled. Those armors, general armors, king armors, and emperor armors can only be used by special races like the flame god race that I've guided to evolve. Of course, the 9 Tribulations secret tome you cultivate belongs to the evolutionary style of my sect, and it's more advanced than the flame god races. You can use it too. Luo Feng realized. No wonder humanity couldn't research it. Even the soldier armor and general armor shards weren't discovered. As it turned out, the requirements to use it were too harsh. Back then, this powerful being of a foreign race had created it specifically for his evolutionary path. The soul source is like that too. I've modified Earth, turning it into a cradle. The children of the soul source, soldier soul, general soul, emperor soul, they all have to be from Earth to use. The towering elder exclaimed, other than you Earthlings, only the leader of the flame god race, your second senior has the ability to use the soldier soul, general soul, etc. Of course he has the soul source, he won't care about the children. However, these subsidiary bodies are very important to you Earthlings, said Yizichin. With it, the Earthlings will be able to create an extremely terrifying spirit reader army. Whether it's a controller or hypnotist, they'll be extremely powerful. It can make the chances of the elites of Earth dying very, very low. This way, the chances of a universe knight being born is even higher. Earthlings, their future is limitless. Because they have to be nurtured on Earth, only then will their souls have that uniqueness. Earth is only so big, resulting in a limited number of Earthlings. Being bound to a small planet makes the Earthlings similar to the flame god race, extremely few in numbers. However, the chances of a strong being born will be very high. As long as you have enough time, when you become an absolute warrior, under your protection, guidance and nurture, you'll naturally be able to nurture a powerful race. Of course, whether you want to stay within the human race, or separate the Earthlings from the human race, that's your choice. However, all of this will have to wait until you become a true overlord of the universe. Only then can you do it. Chapter 904. Luo Feng looked at the water droplets floating in the endless space, almost as though he could see the future of Earth's warriors. Under his lead, Earth's name would spread far and wide, becoming a power not to be underestimated amongst the trillions of races in the vast universe. Skyscrapers are built from the ground up, however a building's foundation determines whether or not it can be built into a skyscraper. My foundation has already been formed. It's already here. It all depends on my own hard work, Luo Feng thought. In the vast universe, in terms of resources, those that could match up to him could be counted on one's fingers. In the human race, because there were countless warriors, just the universe lords alone, they definitely couldn't leave the Star Pagoda and Calamity Armor to a sector lord early on. No matter how much of a genius he was, it was impossible. However, the foreign race was a lone ranger. He didn't need to consider the race, and obviously his ability to accumulate treasures and treasures was comparable to the entire human race. To be able to be on good terms with such a foreign race being, even the universe lords of the human race would be extremely happy. Disciple Luo Feng. The towering old man pointed at the water droplets floating around him. There are 1,000,000 soldier souls, 100,000 general souls, 10,000 king souls, and 1,000 emperor souls. They are similar to the soldiers and general armors of the flame god race. The soldiers and general armors put a great burden on the body and have harsh requirements. And these soldier souls and general souls, however, have extremely high requirements for the soul. Soldier souls, normal pinnacle human sector lords can completely withstand it. General souls, 100 times that of a pinnacle human sector lord. Emperor souls, 10,000 times that of a pinnacle human sector lord. Emperor souls, 1,000,000 times that of a pinnacle human sector lord. The majestic old man looked at Luo Feng. Disciple, even though you're only a sector lord, you have the soul activation technique in terms of willpower and consciousness. You can pass the life and death inheritance. Consciousness comes from the soul. Maybe if it's weaker, it's only comparable to an undying. However, in terms of willpower, many universe lords might not even match up to you. The Star Pagoda inheritance was very special. The stronger the soul, the greater the pain during the fusion. Hence back then when the foreign race captured a large batch of test subjects, the universe lords that were captured and fused, their souls were strong, to be able to become universe lords, which one of them wasn't a powerful person. Absolute geniuses? However, the pain during the fusion was incomparable. Without any struggle, they all died. His death was very straightforward. On the contrary, sector lords and undyings had weak souls, so the pain from the inheritance was much lower. Even though they all died, they could still struggle for a bit. Hence the candidates had to be sector lords or undying. However, Luo Feng was able to do it. His willpower was already incredibly powerful. These 6,000 years, he had been constantly training and improving, especially when he underwent a transformation at 3,200 years. It made his willpower even more powerful than most of the knights in the universe. The soul strength is the soldier, the consciousness is the commander, and the will is the commander. The stronger one's willpower was, the stronger one's strength would be. Although you are a realm lord, and your soul amplification is 32 times, with your willpower and consciousness, it is more than enough to use a general soul. The majestic old man said, "Bring 2 general souls with you, one for your earth clone and one for your golden-horned beast clone. Wait for me to arrange everything before you use them." "Yes," Luo Feng said respectfully. With a flip of his hand, the 2 souls were kept in his world ring. "Teacher, these soldier and general souls." Luo Feng was hesitant. Beside Universe Lord Pu-Ti smiled. "Third Junior, these soldier and general souls are all special items, their effects are no less than many treasures. Unless you truly want to nurture the Earth bloodline, they should be placed here, it's the safest." Luo Feng nodded. Looking at the floating 4-colored countless water droplets, these were what the Earth bloodline would rely on in the future. "Follow me, I'll bring you on a tour of the Star Tower." The old man pointed ahead. The countless water droplets floating in space began to condense into a boat, first forming the bow and then swiftly extending to the back. The powerful energy gathered and naturally formed a beautiful and elegant boat that was over 10 kilometers long. The boat emitted a powerful energy, causing Luo Feng to stare wide-eyed and mouth agape. "Get on." The majestic old man entered the boat and sat crossed-legged. 900 m tall, sitting on the 10 kilometers long boat, it was like a normal person sitting on a 30 m long boat. It was normal. However, Luo Feng and Pu-Ti were like little dots beside their teacher. "Created?" Luo Feng's eyes were filled with shock. This was a boat even stronger than the 9-Blade Knights universe ship back then, yet it was so easily created. Very shocked? Third Junior brother, Master is one of the most powerful beings in the universe. Even the laws of the universe have to give way to existences like them. The laws around them are useless. You should also feel that you can no longer feel the origin laws of the universe. Pu-Ti smiled at Luo Feng, and teacher and the others are already able to control the laws. Within a certain area around them, it's not the universe origin laws that control them, but them. Within a certain area, whatever teacher and the others say the laws are, they are the laws within that area. Teacher said, "Fire can freeze people to death, so it can." Teacher said, "Countless life forms reach their limits and fall, that's when countless warriors fall." Teacher said, "The stars should disappear, the planets should release endless light, that's when it happens." Teacher said, "The maximum speed is no longer light speed, but 10 times light speed. That means within this area, one can reach 10 times light speed. That's the control of the laws. Within a certain area around teacher, the universe's original laws are useless. Teacher controls everything." Pu-Ti looked at Luo Feng's stunned expression and laughed. Luo Feng was completely shocked. Control of the laws? This was the strongest? Whatever he said was the law. Even the laws were useless? Of course, it's not as invincible as you think. This endless universe operates according to the origin laws of the universe. It will give respect to the strongest experts in the universe, but it's only a certain privilege. It's only within a certain range of the strongest experts in the universe. If you really want to go against the laws of the universe and become enemies with the entire universe, you're just courting death. In theory, with the control of the laws, shouldn't they be able to easily kill countless warriors? However, just the Universe Lord, the one that truly controls space and time, it's extremely hard for the strongest to kill them. Pu Ti explained. Luo Feng listened to Pu Ti's explanation in secret. He was shocked. His horizons were very different. In the past, Luo Feng's horizons were more focused on Emperor-level Undyings and Universe Knight. As for the Universe Lords, he could only look up to them. Maybe he had the desire to become a Universe Lord, but which genius didn't? A soldier that didn't want to become a general wasn't a good soldier. However, how many soldiers could become generals? Geniuses all had ambitions and desires, but that was all. Luo Feng looked up to the Universe Lord, that level of being. However, right now his senior and second senior were Universe Lords. His teacher was even one of the strongest in the universe. Listening to them speak, he could hear the highest level secrets of the vast universe. Star Pagoda, 9 light years tall. If you slowly walk around by yourself, who knows when you'll finish? Sitting crossed-legged on the mountain like majestic old man's voice rumbled. He pointed around. I'll guide you. You'll finish in half a day. Look carefully. Luo Feng sat on the boat. The boat's speed far surpassed light speed. In theory, once it reached light speed, it should enter the dark universe. However, that didn't happen. Obviously, the foreign race had already adjusted the speed limit around him. This sort of defying the laws of the universe was something only the strongest of the universe could do. The strangest thing was, Luo Feng could clearly see everything. Flying faster than light speed and still able to clearly see everything? Luo Feng couldn't understand at all. Everything went against the laws he was used to. However, he still looked carefully. The vast star pagoda. The boundless space. In the boundless space, the various forbidden areas only occupied less than 1% of the area. The larger area was occupied by the pillars that connected to the heavens. The shortest pillars that connected to the heavens were a few light seconds long, while the longest were over a light year long. These sky pillars had endless engravings on them. They were incredibly complex and glowed with a golden light. These sky pillars were embedded and connected to each other. Other than that, there were many other strange-looking treasures. Every one of them had huge auras. Other than that, there were many ceiling stars. These ceiling stars were like the wheels of a bicycle. They revolved around everywhere. Every one of them had marks on them. The sky pillars were the frames of a skyscraper. The other treasures were bricks, windows, branches and leaves. And countless ceiling stars acted as a buffer. Huge origin law engravings covered the sky pillars. They pierced through countless treasures and countless ceiling stars. It was almost like an incomparably secret and terrifying machine. After forming a perfect body, a heart-trembling treasure was born. The complexity of the engravings that could be seen with the naked eye even surpassed the engravings on the beast god statue. Just like that, he spent an entire day looking through them. Luo Feng was completely stunned. These origin law engravings. Luo Feng held his breath. Even though I spent countless years and effort to create them. The majestic old man's voice rumbled as he exclaimed. However, during the process of the treasure's formation, there were special changes that exceeded my control. Even I can't see through them. This is the mystery of the universe's evolution. Luo Feng, my disciple, can you feel the entire star pagoda? I can. Luo Feng nodded. After successfully recognizing me as its owner, I can feel those ceiling stars. I can feel that I can easily obtain them, and easily reach the various restricted spaces. However, as for activating the entire star pagoda, I feel like I'm facing a huge mountain. I can't activate it at all. The power of the star pagoda is limitless. The majestic old man smiled. Your power is still very weak. How can you activate it? Just that treasure calamity armor. To activate it, your body's strength has to reach 100 million sector lords. Normal universe knights can reach that. You've stepped into the undying level, you're definitely an Emperor Invincible, and even stronger than the so-called Emperor Invincible in the universe. When you train the 9 Calamity Manuals in the future, you'll be comparable to the universe's special life forms. Naturally, its special, undying level can do it. However, the Star Pagoda is 10 to 100 times stronger than the Calamity Armor. Activating it is even more difficult. If you want to activate the perfect Star Pagoda, difficult. The moment you can activate the complete Star Pagoda, even if it's at its weakest, a simple smash, those universe knights will be smashed to death. The majestic old man shook his head. The current you is still very weak. Chapter 905. Your disciple understands. Luo Feng said respectfully. The Star Tower and the armor, you can't really use them now. The armor is a complete set of armor, unable to be separated. However, the treasures within the Star Tower are countless, you can take some out. According to the treasures within the tower, I've specially made another treasure to assist you. The towering old man waved his hand. Hua, a gigantic scroll appeared out of thin air above the cruise ship, completely enveloping the entire cruise ship. The cruise ship, which was more than 10 kilometers long, looked like a tiny dot, much smaller than the scroll. A majestic energy that made one's heart tremble emanated. This picture's energy was extremely strong, far surpassing the ceiling stars. This picture is a treasure, able to merge the ceiling stars within. Combining the two will form a special treasure, a star picture, barely able to cross the threshold of a treasure. The towering old man gazed at Luo Feng. Once you recognize the owner of this picture, you'll know the wonders within. The picture swiftly shrunk and landed before Luo Feng. Luo Feng extended his hand to receive it. A thread of world energy permeated within, imprinting his spirit within, forming a spiritual connection. Simultaneously, a huge amount of information flowed from the star picture into Luo Feng's consciousness. So it's like that, what a terrifying star picture. Luo Feng was shocked. The picture itself was considered a treasure. The ceiling stars were also treasures. However, the picture could merge with a sea of ceiling stars. According to the information that flowed in, it could at most hold 100,000 ceiling stars. Every single ceiling star was a precious treasure. Once all 100,000 ceiling stars merged with the scroll, it would become a star chart, and it would definitely become a supreme treasure. The star map, Luo Feng could imprint the origin law engravings of his own attack techniques within, and naturally it would be imprinted on the ceiling stars. The moment he attacked, the stars would connect with the origin laws. Its power was limitless. I'll be slacking for a while. The towering old man laughed, his voice reverberating throughout the endless space. Only the picture was made, the ceiling stars are from within the star tower. Thank you, teacher. Luo Feng said respectfully and gratefully. This star chart can at most contain 100,000 ceiling stars. Although there are many ceiling stars in the star tower, almost all of them are important parts of the star tower itself and cannot be lost. Only a small number of ceiling stars, about 10,000 of them, were useless. You can take it out, said the towering old man. Your disciple understands. Luo Feng nodded. After the star tower recognized him as its owner, Luo Feng knew a lot of information. Actually, the towering old man sighed emotionally. His voice formed spatial ripples in the endless void. The original plan to seal the stars did not have the ability to seal. Most of them are offensive abilities. Regardless of whether it's controlling the countless stars to attack the enemies outside or controlling the countless stars to attack the enemies trapped in the pagoda, it's all a type of technique. It's just that something special happened later on. These stars actually possess sealing abilities, which far surpasses my imagination. You can control the stars and carve the mysterious runes of laws onto the stars. You can erase them and carve them again at any time. Before the star pagoda is fully activated, Controlling the stars to attack is one of the great techniques. The towering old man sighed, if we can completely activate the entire star pagoda, the entire star pagoda smashes down, or the entire star pagoda is like a dagger, and the tip of the star pagoda stabs out. This smash. One stab. This is the star pagoda's strongest attack. Even at its weakest, it can easily kill a universe knight. If it's strong enough, it's enough to dominate the vast universe. No one will fear it. Luo Feng couldn't help but ask, Teacher, dare I ask, when will I be able to activate the complete star pagoda? Haha, do you see that energy whirlpool? The towering old man asked. I see it. That 9-spiral nebula's power is boundless. Just the whirlpool alone, if you go deeper, it can kill a universe knight. Luo Feng said. That 9-spiral nebula is because the star pagoda has returned to its original size. It automatically absorbs energy from the universe to sustain itself. The towering old man said, the star pagoda is 9 light-years tall. The power within is boundless. Even the absolute warriors of the universe are helpless against it. To maintain such power, the amount of energy it consumes is extremely terrifying. By constantly devouring energy, it can easily annihilate universe paragons. If you shrink it and keep it within your body, when will you be able to supply such a huge amount of energy? The towering old man asked. Luo Feng was dumbfounded. How much energy would that require? An energy whirlpool could even kill a universe knight. Relax, that's an extremely powerful state. You only need to unleash the lowest power. The amount of energy consumed will be much smaller. The towering old man said, even so, it far exceeds the requirements of the Calamity armor. Regarding the star pagoda, I only have one request for you. Teacher, please speak. Luo Feng said. Before I can activate the complete star pagoda, I want it to remain here. The towering old man emphasized. Remain here? Luo Feng immediately understood. The star pagoda has long attracted the attention of the absolute warriors of the universe. Even the beings who are equal to me in strength have their eyes on the star pagoda. After all, it's one of the strongest treasures. The star pagoda has long been watched in the outer region battlefield. The moment it suddenly disappears, it will definitely cause a huge commotion. All of the soldiers of the star pagoda in the outer region battlefield, the soldiers of the 4 big camps, the hundreds of thousands of Emperor-level Undyings including you, none of them will be able to escape. The towering old man said. Luo Feng was dumbstruck as he heard. Hundreds of thousands of Undyings including himself, none of them would be able to escape. Right. Such a treasure, it would attract the most terrifying beings in the universe. With their methods, who could escape? Even the universe lords of humanity wouldn't easily let Luo Feng and the others go. With Luo Feng's status, it was still possible for him to obtain a treasure like the Wu Killer Wings that was of little use to the universe lords. However, the star pagoda, a treasure that could make even the strongest of warriors drool over it. It was one of the strongest treasures. It was definitely not something Luo Feng had the right to possess. The creator of the huge axe, the primal Chaos City leader, all of them had humanity's best interests at heart. They would also steal it from Luo Feng and give it to one of the strongest universe lords to use. Even the creator of the huge axe might be able to use it, unless you have the power to stand on equal footing with them. Without that power, don't touch the star pagoda. The towering old man emphasized, if you can truly activate the star pagoda, you'll have the power to stand on equal footing with them. Along with the human race behind you, you'll be one of the highest echelons of humanity. No one will steal your treasures. Naturally, you'll have the right to possess the star pagoda. Luo Feng nodded. It was a hot potato. You currently have 3 treasures. The towering old man said. The first, when I first saw you, your aura was completely hidden, making you look like an Undying. To be able to hide your aura, it must be a treasure. I reckon it was given to you by your primal Chaos City leader teacher. Whatever he gave you, it must be of little use to the universe lords, but enough to make even the knights go crazy. Luo Feng blinked. His guess was accurate. The second is the Tower Pearl, which is also the pearl that has fused with your soul. The Tower Pearl is the core of the Star Pagoda's sealed space, and the seal is the main function of the entire Star Pagoda. As for the so-called attacks of smashing and stabbing, they are all supplementary, and the so-called defense of hiding within the Star Tower is also supplementary. Sealing a super expert is the main ability. The Tower Pearl itself can barely be considered a treasure. The Tower Pearl fuses with your soul. You should know how to use it to protect your soul. Luo Feng nodded as he listened. The process of the Tower Pearl fusing was extremely painful. However, after it was fused, it was incomparably mysterious. The third is the star map. When the sealing stars fuse with the star map, its power rises greatly. It can already be considered a low-level treasure. With your current strength, you can't use too many sealing stars at once. Even with the general soul, I reckon you can only use 10 sealing stars. That's already not bad. 3 treasures. They've all never appeared in the universe. The towering old man said, never appearing before, other warriors won't be able to recognize them. As long as you don't unleash their full power, other warriors won't be able to guess that you have them. Luo Feng nodded. Killer Wu Yue had never appeared before. The star map, he would only be able to fuse with the sealing stars in a while. It was also considered a new treasure. The Tower Pearl was one of the cores of the Star Pagoda. No one had ever successfully fused with it before, much less knew about it. The 3 treasures were all beyond the limits of the treasures, barely entering the ranks of the treasures. They were treasures that even the universe lords didn't care about, yet the knights were madly chasing after. Don't get cocky. The 3 low-level treasures added together can't even compare to the Star Pagoda. They are also far from the Calamity Armor. The towering old man said, your disciple will definitely work hard to use the Calamity Armor and the Star Pagoda. Luo Feng replied. The towering old man nodded. Luo Feng and Pu Ti were listening to their teacher's teachings on the boat, simultaneously returning to the palace. Their speed was even faster. After a while, they were back in the palace. Teacher, I've only gotten 2 pieces of the 9 Calamity Manual. I wonder where the other parts are? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. The 9 Calamity Manual can allow your gene level to constantly rise, to the point where it's comparable to some powerful and special universe life forms. The towering old man gazed at Luo Feng, and if your gene level rises excessively, it will definitely attract the attention of many warriors. The higher your strength, the more you'll have the right to own the special treasures. There are a total of 5 pieces of the 9 Calamity Manual's God's Soul Crystal Board. You've already gotten 2 pieces. The other 3 have been placed in the universe's dangerous areas. You can go get one more when you're a Sector Lord, another when you're an Undying, and the last one when you become a Universe Knight. The towering old man gazed at Luo Feng. The 3 dangerous areas are getting more and more dangerous. When you become a Universe Knight and get the last piece, the complete 9 Calamity Manual, I estimate that you'll be very close to activating the complete Star Pagoda. These are the universe coordinates of the 3 metal boards. They all have simple descriptions of the dangerous areas. The towering old man pointed at Luo Feng from afar. A light flew towards Luo Feng and entered his mind. As the information flowed in, Luo Feng understood everything. Disciple, don't die in these 3 dangerous areas. The towering old man said. Yes. Luo Feng was very clear. Things are done. I've prepared enough for you. 3 treasures on you, armor and soul protection. From now on, you'll have to rely on yourself. I won't help you in the future. The towering old man said, I'm looking forward to the day you can fully activate the Star Pagoda. Following which the space trembled. The towering old man had already vanished. Only Luo Feng and Pu Ti were left in the palace. Big Senior, I'm ashamed to say this, I still don't know teacher's name. Luo Feng said, not daring to ask before. Ha ha! Pu Ti sat cross-legged in the palace and laughed. No one knows teacher's real name. However, because he often sits on the mountain peaks and roams the endless universe, the absolute beings of the vast universe have given him a nickname, Mountain Traveler. Your second senior, his name is Chao Benki. He's called the Flame Emperor by the absolute warriors of the universe. One of the universe's strongest, Mountain Traveler, the leader of the Flame God race, Flame Emperor. Luo Feng memorized it. Earth finally has a leader. Things are done, I can relax a lot. Third Junior. I'll leave first. Pu Ti smiled. The space around him trembled and he vanished. Within the palace, only Luo Feng was left. He laughed softly. This teacher of mine is after all one of the universe's strongest, Mountain Traveler. His discipline is really lax. From now until he activates the Star Pagoda, he doesn't care about anything else. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Recommendation votes? Are there any? No more? Luo Feng already has 3 treasures, give me at least 3 vote. Chapter 906. Luo Feng walked within the palace. When he reached the edge, a door appeared out of thin air. Standing in front of the door, there were countless floating ceiling stars. Stars come. Luo Feng smiled. Immediately, the interior of the entire star tower began to revolve. Some of the ceiling stars that had been formed from the endless energy it had devoured over the countless years quickly rushed over. Very quickly, a vast expanse gathered in front of them. Over 10,000 ceiling stars were slowly moving, and none of the ceiling stars had the mysterious patterns of laws that were emitting a hazy golden light. The other ceiling stars cannot be lost. These 16235 are useless. Luo Feng nodded. Through the Star Pagoda, he controlled the ceiling stars one by one to fly towards Luo Feng, going through the individual recognition process. Teacher said, I can at most control 10 stars at once, then I'll temporarily take 100. When I need more in the future, I'll come back for more. Luo Feng stood in the space in front of the door, and ahead of him were 100 glass bead-sized stars spinning around. Luo Feng flipped his hand and a picture scroll appeared. 100 marble-sized stars fell into the scroll one by one. Immediately, traces of mottled stars appeared on the scroll, and the scroll also had a special connection with the ceiling stars. From then on, the star map was born. Tearing Sky First Claw. Luo Feng's thoughts moved, looking down at the star map in his hand. On it immediately appeared complex origin law engravings. This was Luo Feng's Tearing Sky First Claw. Within the 100 stars on the map, there were 6 that were slightly golden. Looks like the first claw can at most control 6 ceiling stars. Luo Feng nodded. This was the function of the star map. It could unify and control a large number of ceiling stars. Moreover, it could easily imprint the secret technique attacks that needed to be performed on the stars. It could also be easily erased and imprinted another secret technique. The level of the technique also determined the number of stars needed to be activated. Rise! Luo Feng roared. 6 marble-sized, pitch-black stars with faint traces of law runes on them slowly emerged from the star chart. After being altered by the star chart, it was impossible to tell that these 6 tiny stars were the boundlessly powerful ceiling stars. Out! Luo Feng looked at the distant space. Hua! 6 black stars shot through the air, activating the essence laws of the universe. Countless golden threads intertwined, and in an instant, the 6 stars transformed into a claw. Just the sharp part of the claw appeared out of thin air. The 6 stars were the tip of the claw, and with infinite power it tore through the void. Luo Feng was filled with glee, after which the 6 stars flew back into the star map. Haha, the star map is definitely a treasure for spirit readers. Luo Feng was incomparably excited. The weapons that spirit readers needed were usually made with precious materials, and then their comprehended battle techniques and methods were imprinted on them. That way, during battle, they only needed to activate these engravings to communicate with the origin laws, saving a lot of energy and allowing them to unleash even more power. For example, the Nanshan armament had already imprinted the 9 moves, and then allowed the blades to combine to unleash the power of each move. But the star map was different. The star chart could be imprinted and erased at any time. Furthermore, with the sealing star as the foundation, no matter how powerful the mystic art was, even the Lord of the Universe would only need to expend a bit more of the sealing star to completely bear the imprint of the Lord of the Universe's combat mystic art. And this is the sealing star. Every one of them is a powerful treasure. Even if we don't use any profound secret arts, just smashing the sealing stars one by one will be enough to kill them all. Even if it's a star, a white dwarf, or a neutron star, they'll all be destroyed in one hit. After all, these are treasures that even the lords of the universe value. Luo Feng smiled. Unlike the Wu Yu wings, because it was too high-end, it couldn't unleash enough power. This star map, even though it was high-end, every star was also a treasure. The moment Luo Feng used the General Soul, he would be able to unleash a lot of power. Star map, this star map, I can imprint any battle technique I can think of into it. I can even use my own path. From today onwards, this star map shall be called the star map. Luo Feng really liked this star map. He could unleash his full power, hence he named it the star map. Absorb the soul into the body. Luo Feng flipped his hand and a water droplet floated, flying straight towards his forehead, gently touching it and absorbing it. The moment the water droplet touched Luo Feng's origin orb, it was like water entering a dried-up river bed, swiftly being absorbed. And after absorbing the general soul, the origin orb seemed to transform from a baby into a giant, possessing endless power. So strong. With my current willpower and consciousness, I can indeed completely control the general soul. The soldier soul has 1,000 times the strength of a sector lord's soul. The general soul, however, has 10,000 times the strength of a sector lord. Luo Feng exclaimed. Back then, when Teacher Mountain Passenger made the Calamity Armor and the Origin Soul, it could be said to be 2 sides of the same coin. The requirements and power were very similar, it was just that one supported the body, the other the soul. Luo Feng's current spirit energy was extremely strong, with the general soul and 10,000 times the strength of a sector lord. It was completely comparable to a true early-level emperor, and with his willpower and consciousness control, he could unleash power no weaker than a pinnacle emperor. 1. A blurry pagoda silhouette enveloped the little beast god formed by the origin orb. This blurry pagoda silhouette was formed by the pagoda pearl, following which the pagoda silhouette vanished. I already have the foundation of my soul, with my willpower and consciousness. My power is limitless. Just in terms of defense, with the pagoda pearl, who can stop me? Luo Feng was extremely confident. Standing in the palace, Luo Feng's silver wings spread open. On his back was the Wu Killer wings, within his soul was the pagoda pearl. His body was supported by the general armor. His soul was supported by the general soul. His attacks were even supported by the star map. The current Luo Feng's intrepidity was enough to make even the pinnacle emperors despair. Against such an unkillable cockroach, who could afford to offend him? In terms of foundation and treasures, even the 7-blade emperors and life-destruction emperors would be flabbergasted. It was just that the 7-blade emperors and life-destruction emperors were already extremely strong. Combined with their treasures, they could still fight Luo Feng. Over 6,000 years of life and death inheritance. Over 5,000 years of studying the path of the beast god, complementing it with the space laws. Luo Feng exclaimed. Over 1,000 years ago, he had already stepped into the 19th level of the beast god. Now that 5,000 years had passed, Luo Feng's beast god conception was already comparable to the 20th level of the heavenly bridge. His improvement speed was simply shocking. The 20th level of the heavenly bridge. How terrifying was that? Of course, the main reason was that Luo Feng had been copying the beast god statue, forcefully memorizing it, along with his willpower and consciousness growing stronger. He was able to reach such a level. Just his beast god conception alone was improving rapidly. On the other hand, his 7 transformations of the god and space laws were improving slowly. He had just completed the second part of the 7 transformations of the god, and with the second part completed, its power was equivalent to the 18th level of the heavenly bridge. The space laws had also comprehended 6 pictures, which was equivalent to the 18th level. From this, one could see that comprehending the laws itself was obviously much harder than improving the beast god conception. However, the strength of the beast god conception made Luo Feng's battle power incredibly shocking. And I've even gained something that surprised me. My space laws, I've only comprehended 6 pictures. The most important 7th picture, I haven't comprehended anything at all. It's actually the Masha Clansman with the miraculous resonance between the life crystal and the universe space laws. It actually allowed my Masha Clansman to unleash teleportation technique. Teleportation. This is the first time I've been able to teleport myself. Luo Feng was filled with glee. Even though I have the heavy arrow emperor as my slave, during the crucial moments of battle, the enemies will naturally split up to deal with me and my slave. The heavy arrow emperor won't be able to stay by my side at all times. If I want to flee, naturally I'll teleport myself, that's the fastest. Luo Feng could already imagine that when his earth body was battling, the Masha Clansman would instantly become a metal piece and appear within his muscles. Shwa. The Masha Clansman teleported and naturally fled. That Masha Clansman and his earth body, their cores were both cores. For the Masha Clansman to suddenly leave the internal world, this was something that no one could stop. It wasn't like leaving the world ring that required the guidance of the world energy. Leaving the internal world in an instant was just a thought. After 6,000 years, his improvement was indeed a huge leap. The beast god conception reaching level 20, the second part of the 7 transformations of the gods, the Masha Clansman's ability to teleport, willpower and consciousness that was 100 to 1,000 times stronger than before, and the 2 low-level treasures left behind by his teacher Mountain Guest, enough to make countless knights in the universe jealous. Adding them all up, he had 3 treasures, along with the general's soul and armor that were no less than treasures. Everything was in his hands. With so many methods at hand, even if I face the 7-blade emperors, life destruction emperor, Pagoda Dragon Emperor etc., I won't be afraid. Luo Feng was extremely confident. He had received the inheritance of one of the universe's strongest, the Mountain Guest. There were a few strong warriors in the universe, but there were also a few lone warriors like the Mountain Guest from other races. These strongest warriors that didn't need to consider their own race, their inheritances were the ones that truly made the 6 pinnacle races and many other powers envious. Like the primal Chaos City leader and other beings, they had long been thinking, even if they couldn't invite those old bastards, if they could let their own race obtain their inheritances, that would be extremely beneficial to their race. Everything is ready. It's time to go see my family. Luo Feng's gaze was sharp before, but thinking about his family, his gaze softened. During that life and death inheritance, he had been holding on because he wanted to see his family, only that after he woke up, he met the strong warrior Mountain Guest. In front of one of the strongest warriors in the universe, Luo Feng didn't dare to talk to his teacher while his consciousness entered the virtual universe to find his family. That would be extremely disrespectful. The first time they met, Luo Feng didn't want to offend his teacher like that. If he was his teacher, and it was his first time meeting his disciple, the disciple was distracted and even entered the virtual universe, he definitely wouldn't be happy. Hence he endured it. After his teacher left, He swiftly settled the star map and merged it with the general soul. Everything was ready, it was time to meet his family. Chapter 907. Virtual Universe, Yuxiang Mountain Primal Region, Luo Feng's Villa. Luo Feng had just connected to the virtual universe and his consciousness entered. He found a pile of mail. So many. Luo Feng was shocked, gently tapping in mid-air. A page appeared and he opened it. Primal Chaos City Leader Teacher 2 emails, True Yen Teacher 9 emails, Bolin 1 email, Rong Jun 2nd emails, Gao Xing 1 email, Luo Ping has 18 emails, Luo Hai has 21, Luo Hua has 3, Father has 3, Mother has 83, and Su Xian has 38192. The dense amount of mail caused Luo Feng to be stunned. Other than teachers, friends, and family, there were also emails from friends he met in Hongmeng City. Some invited him to explore the universe's secret areas, some wanted to sell treasures and asked him if he wanted them, and some asked him for help when they were in danger. The contents of the Primal Chaos City Leader's mail was simple: hurry and come see me. True Yan's mail was, if you can return alive, there's no rush. Deal with your family and come see me. Bolin and a few other good brothers from back then had just stepped into Sector Lord level. As for the friend Gao Xing from back then on Dragon Star, he was here to tell Luo Feng that after falling out with his family and wandering the universe for so many years, he had finally made a comeback. The mail was filled with joy. At the same time he was waiting for Luo Feng's reply. It was a pity that this mail from over 2,000 years ago, Luo Feng hadn't been able to reply. As for his family, they were all worried. Su Xian. Luo Feng looked at the total of over 38,000 mail. He was stunned. These mail were all from the 6,000 years since he accepted the life and death inheritance. At a rate of almost 1 mail a day, sometimes even 2 a day. After a full 100 years, he had actually written a total of over 30,000 mail. Luo Feng swiftly opened a few of them. Feng, the family's plan is almost complete. I'm feeling more relaxed. When you return, the Luo family will still be strong. Feng, I'm now on a beautiful planet in the North Birch Starfield. The scenery is beautiful, but it feels too lonely. Feng, I've met with some trouble today. I really didn't expect that she would dare to play with me like this. I can only lament that there's no knowing what's in a man's heart. Our friendship of so many years has been destroyed in a single day. Sigh, that's right, I haven't seen this old subordinate for hundreds of years. The emails were like a diary, recording Su Xian's life, joy, sorrow, and pain over the past 100 years. The words were filled with a faint sense of sadness. It was a sadness that came from the bottom of his heart. Even though it was a happy thing, Luo Feng couldn't feel any happiness. Sorry for the trouble. The mail from back then was really troublesome. Luo Feng's face was bitter. Back when Luo Feng accepted the life and death inheritance and sensed the danger, he left a message to his family. He even set it to be sent after 600 years. Before the inheritance was completed, Luo Feng never would have thought that this life and death inheritance would actually last for over 6,000 years. It was too ridiculous. They'll definitely be very worried and anxious when they receive the mail. Luo Feng could guess his family's reactions. Primal Chaos City Leader, True Yen, the 2 teachers, I'll wait a while before meeting them. Luo Feng thought, if I'm a little late, the 2 teachers shouldn't mind. I'll go see my family first. So, Luo Feng immediately teleported to the Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay. 9-Star Bay District, other than the 3 most central residences belonging to Luo Feng, Thunder God and Hong, the other residences all belonged to the Luo family. The other residences had all been renovated and renovated, the style was completely the same. Luo Feng's ancient villa, even after over 10,000 years, hadn't changed at all. It had a special status and meaning. In the Luo family, normal family members didn't have the right to get close to it. At this time, on the grass patch in front of the villa, Luo Ping sat beside a stone table. There were many bottles of wine on the table. There were already over 10 that were completely empty, falling to the side. He was currently holding one bottle and drinking. His speed wasn't fast, but he kept drinking. His eyebrows were filled with worry and worry. "HM?" Luo Feng, who immediately appeared at the villa's entrance, his expression changed. What's going on with Luo Ping? He had never seen his eldest son drink to drown his worries. Between the two sons, Luo Ping was the calmest. Many matters within the family were managed by Luo Ping. He was already considered the head of the family. I've said it before, everyone get out, scram, all of you scram. Luo Ping felt someone behind him and immediately roared, waving his hand behind him. Luo Ping. A voice resounded. The voice was calm like the endless ocean. Even though it was calm, it gave people the feeling of endless power. A strong person talking to a weak person gave off a different feeling. For someone like Luo Feng, whose willpower was extremely strong, his voice could naturally affect others. Luo Ping, who was about to roar, was startled. His body trembled and he slowly turned around. Behind him, a silhouette stood there. It was a very normal height of an earth person, slightly shorter than Luo Ping. However, this silhouette was the pillar of the entire Luo family. The pillar of the entire earth. Dad. Luo Ping's eyes stared wide. The wine bottle in his hand loosened and fell onto the grass patch. With a roll, the wine spilled out. Dad, Dad. Luo Ping excitedly rushed over and hugged Luo Feng. Haha. Luo Feng laughed. What's going on, Luo Ping? You've actually fallen to drinking to drown your sorrows. The main thing is the pressure is too much. Luo Ping straightened his body and wiped away his tears. He felt the endless worries within him vanish in an instant. In the past, he had never experienced the worries he had over the years. However, with Luo Feng's return, everything seemed to have dissipated. Those worries were no longer worries. Where's your mother? Luo Feng asked. Bring me to see her. She's currently negotiating with the Ross family from the Golden Mist Universe country. Luo Ping said. Negotiating? Luo Feng frowned. Luo Ping said helplessly and bitterly, Dad, ever since you sent the mail home we've all been scared. I didn't say I was dead. I only said I met with a calamity. Luo Feng couldn't help but say. We all know you're not dead. Seeing Fan and the others alive, we know you're still alive. However, you said in the mail that you're in such danger, almost like you've met with a calamity. If it's short, it'll be 10,000 years. If it's long, it'll be millions or tens of millions of years before you return. Anyway, the family has begun to worry. The news is only known to my grandparents, uncles, mother, and little brother. The rest don't know. For the family, we've begun to swiftly reorganize the family. We've strengthened the family laws and regulations. We've tried our best to reduce the number of spoiled brats within the family. The Luo family had been around for 10,000 years. Their numbers were shocking. Many of the Luo family's normal disciples no longer had any special privileges. They lived like normal people. After all, the Luo family's current numbers, even 10,000 life planets wouldn't be enough for them to live in. One could see how fast their population was expanding. Actually, some of the human superfamilies in the universe had enough people to occupy an entire galaxy, or even hundreds of galaxies. This was very normal. Our Luo family has expanded too quickly. Before, with you supporting us, it was still alright. I was just afraid that hence we've tried our best to control the family laws. At the same time, we've started to leave many ways for the family to retreat to. The family's trade has been developed. Our business has long left the Ganwu Universe country. Who would have thought that a few decades ago, the Ross family from the Golden Mist Universe country had a conflict with the younger generation. That Ross family is a super family from the Golden Mist Universe country. Their family leader is the Emperor Immortal Sword Turtle Emperor. It's said that his teacher is a Universe Knight. After the matter blew up, it's said that Sword Turtle Emperor sent a mail to you, wanting to settle it privately. However, your virtual universe network has been shut down. I heard from Mom that there are rumors in Yuxiang Mountain that you've fallen. Luo Ping said, the servants in your villa haven't seen you in over 6,000 years. To a sector lord that has only lived for 10,000 years, to suddenly disappear for 6,000 years, that's a very unbelievable thing. Luo Feng nodded. Indeed, there were rumors of his death. That sword turtle emperor may have seen this and didn't stop the families under him. Maybe he wants to use this chance to force our family. Let's see if you show yourself. Luo Ping said. Humph. Luo Feng nodded coldly. Whether I'm alive or dead, just this news alone is invaluable. Especially the other races in the universe. I've long wanted to investigate this. That sword turtle emperor, the disciple of a universe knight, dared to be so presumptuous. Let's go, bring me to your mom. 9-Star Bay, Luo family headquarters. Su Xin personally received the envoys from the Ross family. Madame Luo, our Ross family respects the great Lord Luo Feng, hence we've been enduring. However, that doesn't mean our Ross family can be easily bullied. This is our bottom line. As long as your Luo family takes out this compensation, everything will be over. The negotiator from the Ross family was a huge man covered in gold armor, with a trunk like an elephant. Su Xian sat there. Could she agree? Being bullied to such an extent, if she were to lower her head, there would be even more rumors. The other families would also gradually suspect whether or not the Luo family's backer Luo Feng had fallen. With a start, there would only be more trouble in the future. Madame Luo, the negotiations have already gone on for the 7th day. This is the last day. If there's still no conclusion, our Ross family will. Pa! The door to the meeting room was fiercely pushed open, shocking both parties. Such an important meeting, how could someone barge in at this time? A silver-armored silhouette walked in. A formless pressure, pure willpower and consciousness pressure emanated out. The faces of the Ross family immediately turned pale with fright. Ross family? Sword Turtle Emperor? Tell the Sword Turtle Emperor. The silver-armored youth looked coldly at the negotiator. He dares to bully our Luo family. His guts sure are big. I really don't know who gave him the guts. Did he take the bribes from the other races? Tell him, if he doesn't give me a perfect answer, I don't mind making him fall, making the Ross family disappear. The negotiator's side was completely shocked. My Ross family's head. The elephant trunk man stuttered as he tried to speak. A low-level emperor, humph. Luo Feng said coldly, remember, to give me a perfect answer, it has to be perfect enough. If it's not, you know the consequences. The Ross family side was too shocked to make a sound. Scram! Luo Feng ordered coldly. The members of the Ross family all saluted respectfully and then walked out of the meeting hall in an orderly manner. Only after that did they quietly disappear one by one. They did not dare to directly log off and disappear in front of Luo Feng. Clearly, their courage had been completely suppressed by fear. Within the meeting room, the other members of the Luo family were all filled with excitement. Su Xin was standing too, so excited her body was slightly trembling, looking at Luo Feng. It's been hard on you. Luo Feng turned, looking at his wife, gently holding her hand. The other members of the Luo family all obediently left. Only Luo Feng and Su Xin were left in the meeting room. It's good that you're back. Su Xin looked at Luo Feng, tears welling up in her eyes. Everything's good now, I promise you. No one can bully my family, no one. Luo Feng gently caressed his wife's face, his mind recalling the 30,000 over emails. He couldn't help but feel a pang of pain. He indeed owed his wife a lot. As long as you're back, that's enough. Su Xian said softly, let me hug you for a while. Luo Feng nodded. Su Xian hugged Luo Feng, gently resting her head on his chest, not saying a word, just feeling his body temperature, feeling his heartbeat, his breathing, after a long while. To Today's update has been completed, this chapter has officially ended, the new chapter is about to begin. I also recommend 2 new books. Chapter 908. The matters of the foreign battlefield were pretty much settled. Of course, Sky Formation Emperor who plotted against Luo Feng still had to be dealt with. Luo Feng was stronger. He naturally had the strength to unveil more of the mysterious universe, **** usually, before every new chapter, Tomato would stop updating for a day. Of course, the missing chapters would be added. Please forgive me. After the flood dragon transforms, what would happen next? Everyone would know tomorrow. Chapter 909. Even though he didn't say a word, hugging his wife in his embrace, feeling the warmth from her body, it was almost as though the couple had telepathy, able to feel each other's thoughts. Luo Feng could feel Su Xian's longing and attachment towards him. Su Xian could feel the guilt and pain from Luo Feng's heart. Gradually, the two of them just enjoyed each other's peace and the warmth of each other's bodies. After a while, a long while. Feng, don't make me worry anymore, do you understand? Su Xian looked up at Luo Feng, saying softly, I know you roam the universe, amidst the dangers, there are many things you can't control. The path of the strong is difficult and dangerous, however, you have to try your best not to fall into danger. I understand. Luo Feng nodded, gently caressing his wife's hair. Luo family's Sword Ho Emperor, what do you think? Luo family? Su Xian furrowed her brows. After the conflict between our family and the Roth family escalated, the Roth family was very polite when they first contacted us. It was said that the Swordworm King couldn't get in touch with you. Gradually, they stopped being polite and even tried to suppress our Luo family during negotiations. Ever since you became the direct disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader, our Luo family's power has grown. When we do business with the surrounding people, it's good enough that we don't bully them. Who would dare bully us? Su Xian said. Luo Feng nodded as he listened. When doing business with the direct disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader, those undying families, official families and emperor families usually didn't have much confidence. Normally they would rather lower their heads and take a loss than anger the Luo family. This was human nature, just like how Luo Feng felt respect and fear when he faced the Primal Chaos City leader. Just like back when Luo Feng was still weak and met Flame Emperor for the first time, he didn't have much confidence. The logic was the same. Different strength, different position naturally had different levels of power. Even though there are rumors of your death in Yuxiang Mountain, even though Sword Ho Emperor couldn't contact you and doubted if you had really died, it's not to the point of suppressing our Luo family during negotiations. Su Xian said, those families, who dares to suppress us? Even the Ganwu Universe country's imperial family treats us as equals. Your thinking makes sense. Luo Feng nodded. Sword Ho Emperor dared to secretly allow the family to do so, even though they were still cautious, only suppressing the Luo family during negotiations. But this was already a slap to Luo Feng's face. As long as Luo Feng hasn't fallen, he should appear. He's forcing me to show myself. It's very likely that they're using this to see if I've really fallen. Luo Feng said seriously. Feng, your status is different now. Many alien race experts in the universe are staring at you, wanting to assassinate you. I feel that there is the shadow of the outsiders behind this. You have to be careful, Su Xian said. Without enough benefits, who would do something so dangerous? Luo Feng nodded. Don't worry. Within the human domain, the foreign races are nothing to worry about. Although Su Xian was a little worried, she still nodded. Primal Chaos City leader teacher urgently summoned me. I rushed home immediately. Now I'll go see teacher first. After that, Luo Feng laughed. Get ready, then our whole family will have a reunion dinner. Su Xian nodded happily. At the highest point of the virtual universe Thunderbolt Island, that palace shrouded in primal chaos energy was where the Primal Chaos City leader resided. Whoosh! Luo Feng appeared outside the entrance of the palace, following which he took a big step in. Walking through the endless darkness, the naked eye couldn't even see the end of the palace. After a while, he stopped. "Teacher," Luo Feng said respectfully. A golden-robed silhouette walked out of the chaos energy. That powerful aura made Luo Feng hold his breath. However, Luo Feng's horizons were much higher now. After meeting one of the strongest warriors in the universe, Mountain Guest, he realized that the aura of the primal Chaos City leader teacher, even though it was stronger than his senior brother Pu Ti, it was obviously much weaker than Mountain Guest. "You're back." The primal Chaos City leader's gaze was like the endless starry sky. He smiled. "It's good that you've returned alive. These 6,000 years, looks like it hasn't been easy for you." "I've suffered a lot," Luo Feng replied. Thinking back to the life and death inheritance, he still sighed within. "HM?" The primal Chaos City leader's eyes suddenly gleamed. He looked carefully at Luo Feng. This caused Luo Feng to be stunned. What was his teacher looking at him so carefully? This was in the virtual universe. His body was made up of illusions. If he wanted to observe him, he could only observe his consciousness. The pressure of his consciousness was very obvious. What's more, the primal Chaos City leader's observation abilities were extremely strong. Your willpower and consciousness was already strong. Now it's even stronger, the primal Chaos City leader exclaimed. And you've also gained the space origin law's recognition. Luo Feng was stunned for a moment before realizing. The space origin law's recognition was during the 6,000 years he was in the life and death inheritance. When the Masha clansman was able to teleport, the strong connection with the universe origin laws had made him gain the space origin law's recognition. The three bodies all had a mark on their foreheads. After connecting to the virtual universe, the connection system automatically scanned them, just like the mark on their forehead. And it's a very high-level recognition. He should be able to teleport now, the primal Chaos City leader exclaimed. The origin law's recognition had different levels too. Like the gold origin law, or the golden blade mark on the forehead, or the golden mountain mark, different marks represented different aspects of recognition. And Luo Feng's forehead now had a few more stars. It was faintly discernible. This was one of the three highest forms of recognition from the space origin laws, teleportation. "How's your origin law comprehension?" the primal Chaos City leader asked. "I estimate it's comparable to the Heavenly Bridge's 20th level," Luo Feng said respectfully. In terms of battle strength, his origin law comprehension was indeed at the Heavenly Bridge's 20th level. The main thing he relied on was the beast god conception. As for things like the 7 divine transformations and space laws, there was obviously still a huge gap from the beast god conception. 20th level? The primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng with approval. "Your improvement is huge. Compared to the pinnacle geniuses in human history, Kudi and Shihua etc., you're not far off." "I relied on some luck," Luo Feng said. "Luck and encounters are also part of one's strength." The primal Chaos City leader smiled. "You've disappeared for over 6,000 years. There have long been rumors of your death. Is your family in trouble?" "Some small problems," Luo Feng said. "Your disciple can deal with them. In the human race, one's position is important. However, one's strength is even more important. Even though you're my direct disciple, if your strength keeps improving slowly, you won't be able to match up to your status. Then others will look down on you," the primal Chaos City leader said. "In these 6,000 years, you haven't revealed a single bit of strength that matches your status. Find some time and attempt the Sector Lord level Heavenly Mountain. If you succeed, your name will naturally rise. Those punks won't dare to mess around. If they do, they'll suspect if they're colluding with the other races and betraying the human race." Attempt the Heavenly Mountain? His teacher was naturally referring to the primal Heavenly Mountain. One had to reach level 20 in origin law comprehension to have a chance to attempt it. Throughout history, those who could pass this level were all geniuses at the pinnacle of humanity. Only by passing the sector Lord level primal heavenly mountain would one have the right to truly compare with Kudi and Shihua etc. geniuses in history. Yes, Luo Feng replied. When you have to keep a low profile, keep a low profile. The primal Chaos City leader said. Like your identity as Blade River Emperor, you have to be completely separate from Luo Feng's identity. You can make an Emperor-level warrior your slave. If the other races know you've done it, they'll definitely pay a huge price to assassinate you. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. The fact that the Blade River Emperor had a Heavy Arrow Emperor as a slave had long spread. The Primal Chaos City leader-teacher naturally knew about this. I've already specially forged the identity of a Blade River Emperor. From when I was young all the way to becoming an Emperor Undying, everything has been checked in detail. There are no flaws at all. The Primal Chaos City leader said. And after you pass the sector Lord level Primal Heavenly Mountain, I'll arrange for the Great Alliance to invite you to join. When that time comes, you'll join as Luo Feng. You alone, you'll take up 2 spot. Thank you, teacher. Luo Feng said gratefully. Can you tell me, how did you use the Flame God Race armor, and how did you kill those emperors? The Primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng. His questions were gentle, because their long lifespans had made these absolute beings very clear on the special inheritances and treasures that geniuses usually didn't want to reveal. Everyone had their own selfish motives. It was because of this that they would work hard to strengthen themselves, work hard to protect their loved ones, work hard to protect their race. These absolute beings were very clear too. These matters couldn't be forced to ask, otherwise it would only incur the wrath of the geniuses. The more talented a person was, the more arrogant he was. Your disciple will naturally be able to use the armor. Luo Feng said. Naturally? The Primal Chaos City leader immediately understood. Flame God Race, human of Earth, as for being able to kill the emperors, firstly it's because of the armor, secondly it's because of the Wu Yu Yi, and thirdly the Fei Mo poison. Luo Feng said respectfully. Back then when your disciple first entered the outer region battlefield, I used the armor. Later on in the Yanji continent, due to my breakthrough in physical strength, I was able to barely use the armor. Luo Feng said respectfully. Actually, the Primal Chaos City leader could clearly see through the army's video feed that Luo Feng started off as a black armor, and later as a silver wing. That was after he acquired the second black metal board on the Yanji continent. The reason why I'm able to unleash a large portion of the armor's power is because, on the Yanji continent, I successfully absorbed the Blood River crystal and became a black warrior. Luo Feng said respectfully. His secret trump cards should be hidden, but some should be revealed too. Anyway, he couldn't hide it for long. Black warrior? The Primal Chaos City leader's eyes were filled with shock, following which he looked excitedly at Luo Feng. Even in Blood River continent, the Black Warrior had become a legend, much less amongst the human race. Luo Feng still hadn't realized the importance of the Black Warrior, but what kind of position was the Primal Chaos City leader? He was very clear on what the Black Warrior represented: good. The Primal Chaos City leader said 3 good words consecutively. His attitude towards Luo Feng had obviously risen. The greater one's potential, the more the Primal Chaos City leader would value them. Everything was from the perspective of the race. The Primal Chaos City leader was like that. Chapter 9-10. Luo Feng was shocked within. He had met his Primal Chaos City teacher many times. He could clearly feel how strict the Primal Chaos City leader was. Luo Feng's usual performance, to Luo Feng, was exceptional enough. However, the Primal Chaos City leader was always calm and normal, rarely praising Luo Feng. His creation of the Bright Moon strategy had been praised before, however it had never been as exaggerated as this. praising him 3 times in a row. For the primal Chaos City leader to say 3 times in a row, that was definitely not normal. I'll just say I've become a black warrior. Luo Feng thought within, Black warrior, my body's genetic energy will instantly increase by 10 times, allowing me to be 10 times stronger than other warriors at the starting line. It's very special, however it's not to the point where the primal Chaos City leader teacher would say 3 times in a row. And the primal Chaos City leader teacher, everything is from the perspective of the race. Don't tell me there's something special about the Black Warrior? Luo Feng. The primal Chaos City leader smiled. Teacher. Luo Feng listened respectfully. The matter of you becoming a Black Warrior, don't spread it for now, haha, our human race hasn't had a Black Warrior in a very long time. The primal Chaos City leader praised. Your talent in the Beast God path is extremely high, and you're a Black Warrior too, it's a perfect match. Your origin law comprehension is so high now, you should be able to break through to undying at any time. When are you preparing to break through? Your disciple wants to head to the universe secret region for a bit, it won't be too late to break through then. Luo Feng said respectfully. In the plan, he still had to get the 3rd black metal board. As for breaking through to undying, the Beast God's conception was already comparable to the Heavenly Bridge's 20th level. Once it reached a higher level, that gold law, as long as Luo Feng wanted to break through, he would be able to instantly take the final step and comprehend the entire gold law. When that time comes, he would be able to break through to undying. Even if the golden horned beast had a hard time becoming undying, the Heavenly Bridge's 20th level's conception comprehension, breaking through the shackles of the core, wouldn't be a problem for Luo Feng. However, did Luo Feng dare? He didn't dare. Because he still had to find his 3rd body. After all, the moment he stepped into undying and broke through the core, the internal world would become a god country. When that time came, he wouldn't be able to nurture the 3rd body. To the universe secret region? The primal Chaos City leader frowned. Kudi had fallen in the universe secret region. The dangers in the extraterritorial battlefield were controllable. The dangers within the universe secret realms were uncontrollable. There were countless universe secret realms where even universe supremacies could fall. For example, Hiroto had lost contact with him in one of these secret realms, causing the entire Golden Horn race to decline and have no choice but to seek the protection of humans. Right now, your comprehension of the principles is extremely high. If you can break through to the immortal realm, just do it. The primal Chaos City Master said. After becoming an undying, your strength will be much stronger, your survivability will also be much higher. At that time, it won't be too late to enter the universe secret region. Your disciple is still looking for a 3rd body. Luo Feng said respectfully. The primal Chaos City leader glanced at Luo Feng. He had long known about Luo Feng's possession of the Golden Horned Beast. The Golden Horned Beast had 3 slots, the higher-ranked warriors all knew about it. In the treasury, in the Great Alliance, there are also some remains of special life forms. The primal Chaos City Master said. Disciple needs Sector Lord remains, and the Virtual Universe Company Treasury and Great Alliance's shops all have special life form remains. However, most of them are at the undying level. Luo Feng said respectfully. As for Sector Lord remains, there are very, very few of them. After all, the special life forms are all born with innate intelligence and intelligence. They know that there are many who wish to possess them. Hence, when they are weak, very few leave the secret regions. And it's very easy for special life forms to become undying. Sector Lord remains are already very rare, preserved remains are even rarer. The higher the bloodline, the harder it was to become an undying. However, special life forms were different. Special life forms were even more noble, even more heavenly, however they didn't have the right to be considered a race. Their numbers were very rare. The same special life form would at least have one in the entire universe over countless years. At most, there would be tens, hundreds, thousands. Even if there were thousands, it was still very rare. Like the golden horned beast, it was famed for its rarity. However, in the vast universe, the total amount of each generation was still quite a lot. And it was passed down from generation to generation, countless years to countless generations. The number of undying level golden horned beasts that were produced was a large amount. As long as they could be passed down, with enough time, naturally more warriors would be born. Special life forms were very rare. It was very easy for them to break through to undying. Even very few were born undying. Like the beast gods, they were born with universe lord battle strength. As they were too few in number and had no ability to reproduce, the universe laws gave the special life forms even more benefits on the path of training. They were born special. The Primal Chaos City leader nodded. Sector Lord level special life forms, almost all hide in the universe secret regions and never come out. To capture them is extremely difficult. You only need to gather feathers or scales to nurture your body. You can give it a try. Your disciple thinks so too. Even if I can't capture them, getting some fur is still easy. Luo Feng said respectfully. Remember, act within your abilities. The Primal Chaos City leader ordered. Yes. Luo Feng said respectfully. Go. The Primal Chaos City leader turned and entered the endless energy current. Luo Feng bowed respectfully before leaving. Thunder Island, outside Tru Yen Emperor's palace. Luo Feng was carrying 2 boxes of precious fruit wine and appeared outside the palace, heading in. Teacher, teacher! Luo Feng shouted loudly from outside. Still not coming in. Tru Yan's laughter resounded. Luo Feng entered the palace. The people he met were mostly Tru Yan's disciples. These disciples, regardless of age, regardless of when they became Tru Yan's disciples, all called Luo Feng Senior. The palace was huge. After walking for a while, Luo Feng arrived at a waterfront pavilion. Within the waterfront pavilion, Tru Yen sat there, looking at the endless waves outside Thunder Island. In the distance, he could see the lightning revolving around the island. Tru Yen sniffed, his eyes gleaming as he looked at the 2 boxes Luo Feng was carrying. Eternal Spirit Fountain Water, 9-peak purple fruit dew? Back then, when teacher sent your disciple out of Primal Chaos City, you told me to bring the wine. Luo Feng smiled. Your disciple is about to leave the foreign battlefield. Even though I haven't had the time to return to Primal Chaos City, I'll give you some in the virtual universe. Anyway, the wine in the virtual universe is much cheaper than in reality. I've accepted a good disciple. These 2 boxes should be about 3 million mixed elements. Tru Yen immediately received them, each taking out a bottle of Eternal Spirit Fountain Water and 9-peak purple fruit dew. In reality, it would cost about 300 million. Even for me, I've only drunk Eternal Spirit Fountain Water once in Primal Chaos City. Even though I don't lack that bit of money, it still hurts. Luo Feng laughed too. He was willing to do it for his teacher. Even if he bought it himself, he couldn't bear to part with it. Even if he bought it in the virtual universe, it would cost over 3 million mixed element. This was enough to buy a few starfields. Come, let's drink. The wine had already been poured. The teacher and disciple drank and chatted. Teacher, I've acquired a treasure in the foreign battlefield. Luo Feng said. Treasure? Tru Yen was shocked. This treasure is a purple clock. Luo Feng began to describe in detail the powers of the clock and the requirements to activate it. Teacher, I already have the Primal Chaos City Leader Teacher's treasure to protect me. I don't lack this one, I wonder if teacher needs it. Haha, you've finally remembered your teacher. Tru Yen laughed, he was very happy. However, from his point of view, Luo Feng had suffered quite a bit in the foreign battlefield. This purple clock was probably his spoils of war. Such a treasure, its value was immeasurable. Just looking at the countless massacres caused by the Sealing Star, one could tell how valuable it was. With Tru Yan's personality, How could he easily accept such a valuable treasure from his disciple? Don't worry. I, your teacher, am famous outside. Tru Yen raised his wine cup and said directly, to be able to make such a name for oneself, who doesn't have a few treasures? Without treasures to protect oneself, how can one be called an invincible emperor? Luo Feng was stunned. Oh, life-destruction emperor, seven-blade emperors, tower dragon emperor, all of them had treasures on them. His teacher Tru Yen had lived for 1,000,000,000 years and his strength was much stronger than them. He could even compare to normal universe knights. How could he not have a few treasures? This purple clock doesn't suit my training path. It's useless to me. Tru Yen shook his head. You should keep it for now. Oh. Luo Feng nodded. Even though Tru Yen rejected the treasure, the ape's smile widened. A disciple was willing to give such a treasure to his teacher. How could he not respect his teacher? After all, after Luo Feng had the primal Chaos City leader as his teacher, there was no need to please Tru Yen. One could only say that Luo Feng was sincere. Have you returned home? Tru Yen asked. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Your family is anxious? Tru Yen laughed. Before, Su Xian had begged him, so he immediately went to find the primal Chaos City leader. Yes. Luo Feng exclaimed. However, it's all right now. Speaking of which, when I returned, I actually met the Ross family of the Sword Turtle Emperor. Sword Turtle Emperor, which punk? Tru Yen frowned. The one who just became emperor not long ago. Luo Feng said. Oh, I remember. His luck isn't bad. He became the disciple of Jin Lan Knight. Tru Yen shook his head. Jin Lan Knight, amongst the many knights of the universe, his strength is considered average. However, he has many disciples. Even someone like Sword Turtle Emperor is under him. That Sword Turtle Emperor dares to find trouble with your family. Tru Yen was shocked. Who does he have to be so daring? Even his teacher Jin Lan Knight would be courteous to you. He wouldn't easily offend you. You are after all the direct disciple of the primal Chaos City leader. Even if the city leader doesn't help you, just your seniors, any one of them would be enough to intimidate Jin Lan Knight. Right, I'm puzzled too. Luo Feng shook his head. The direct disciples of the primal Chaos City leader were mostly Universe Knight, Gui Knight, Golden Axe Knight, etc. It's definitely because of your disappearance, or even the rumors of your death. Investigate. Tru Yan's eyes were filled with killing intent. I have to investigate, and I have to deal a heavy blow. If necessary, I have to make an example out of him. P.S. 2 chapters completed, begging for recommendation vote. If you have, don't forget to vote for me. Chapter 9-11. With the rumors of my death, they've begun to probe. Luo Feng exclaimed, this is what happens when you leave. Your family is relying on you alone to support it. The moment you fall, your family's strength will naturally decline greatly. Tru Yen lifted his wine glass and drank, shaking his head and sighing. My Kahan clan is relying on me to support it too. Even if I'm still alive, because I don't really interfere with the 8-man clan's matters, my clan will still be bullied. If I don't teach those bastards a lesson, they'll think they're lucky and bully you instead. Luo Feng nodded. The primal Chaos City leader teacher also said that after this, he wants me to challenge the Sector Lord level Primal Sky Mountain and display my strength, shocking the other warriors. The primal Chaos City leader's words make sense. Tru Yen nodded, after which he said excitedly, you can challenge the Sector Lord level Primal Sky Mountain? More or less. Luo Feng nodded. That requires one's origin law comprehension to reach level 20. Tru Yen said. Luo Feng smiled mischievously. Haha, good punk. Tru Yen couldn't help but say, you've only trained for how long and you've already caught up to your 3rd senior. A genius. Luo Feng laughed shamelessly. Haha, when we reach Primal Chaos City, you have to buy me some good wine. Tru Yen said. Of course. Luo Feng said straightforwardly. Challenging the Sky Mountain is worth 100 billion points. You can eat and drink, it's nothing to you. Tru Yen laughed loudly. Even though he was drinking and laughing with his teacher, Luo Feng was thinking about the Sword Turtle Emperor, thinking of how to deal with it. As for challenging the Sky Mountain, Luo Feng wasn't in a rush. Once he settled the matters in the alien battlefield, it wouldn't be too late to challenge it. As for Sword Turtle Emperor, he had to deal with it quickly. Although the King of Sword Mantis had restrained himself this time and did not kill anyone, this was a beginning of someone daring to bully the Luo family. As long as there were any signs of this, he had to eliminate them, to let the other families know. The consequences of messing with the Luo family were severe. Luo Feng drank and chatted happily with his teacher. His strength and position were close, he could be this casual. And with the Primal Chaos City leader and mountain guest, Luo Feng couldn't even talk like that. And the Primal Chaos City leader, or one of the strongest warriors in the universe, mountain guest, couldn't possibly be like Luo Feng. Luo Feng, there's mail. Babata reminded him from his shoulder. It's from the Sword Puppet Emperor. Finally, male Luo Feng's gaze froze. His son, Luo Ping, and his wife, Su Xian, had both said that King Swordplay had contacted him, but he had never received any mail from King Swordplay. Luo Feng lightly tapped on the screen and a mail appeared. Tru Yen, who was holding a cup of wine, asked, "What did the King of Swordworms say?" He said. Luo Feng smiled. "Personally visit me at the 9-Star Bay government office to beg for forgiveness." He seems to be quite humble. Tru Yen sneered. It seems that he also knows that this concerns his life. In the foreign battlefields, it was forbidden for soldiers of the same faction to kill each other, but within the human race, there was no such thing as a military system. It was common for human experts to kill each other, and the upper echelons of the human race rarely intervened. The attitude of the human higher-ups was very simple. Fighting and killing among themselves was fine, but if the outsiders were to sneak in and kill humans, that would be a disaster. As for the human warriors going to the foreign battlefields to fight against the outsiders, they too had to be united. Just showing off is useless. Luo Feng raised his cup. "Teacher, I'll accompany you to finish this bottle of wine. It won't be too late to meet that King Swordplay. Let's hang him out first." Tru Yen too raised his cup. Clinking cups, the teacher and disciple discussed many things. After a while, the bottle was finished. Luo Feng left. Virtual Universe Black Dragon Mountain Island, 9-Star Bay. The family leader has something to do and isn't here. King Swordplay, you can come again next time. Or wait here. No rush, I'll wait. Then I'll be leaving. Within the Luo family residence, in one of the pavilions for guests to rest, a huge man at least 8 m tall, dressed in golden shining armor, with an elephant trunk sat there. The Luo family welcomed guests of different levels. This pavilion was just a place for guests to rest. Letting an emperor-level undying stay here was considered an insult. Looks like this Luo Feng has a huge grudge against me. King Swordplay's elephant trunk sniffed. His eyes filled with worry. Without his secret orders, would the normal people of the Luo family dare to treat an undying this way? What's more, I'm an emperor-level undying. No one welcomed me, just a servant leading me here. One look and you can tell it's a normal place, even the tea is cold. Wait! Just wait for Luo Feng to appear. King Swordplay actually lifted the already cold tea, leisurely drinking it, almost as though he didn't feel embarrassed at all. And in 9-Star Bay Luo family, the upper echelon of the Luo family gathered. King Swordplay is here? He's been arranged to stay in a tea pavilion? Gong Xian Lan couldn't help but worry. That's after all an emperor-level undying, we can't just ignore him like that. Mother. Su Xian smiled. No problem, this is Luo Feng's orders. I don't really understand. Gong Xian Lan nodded, sighing. I just feel that an emperor-level undying is a huge figure. Our Ganwu Universe country, the The country leader doesn't even have an emperor-level undying under him. King Swordplay has been arranged to stay in a tea pavilion, and there's actually no commotion at all. Luo Ping smiled. Because, a voice resounded, a person walked in from outside. It was Luo Feng. He doesn't want to die. Dad. Luo Ping and Luo Hai stood up. You're back. Su Xian walked over too. Big brother. Luo Hua smiled and shouted. Luo Feng nodded, looking at his parents. Dad, Mom. It's good that you're back, it's good that you're back. Luo Honghua and Gong Xian Lan nodded. I'll go deal with that King Swordplay. We'll have a family reunion dinner later. Luo Feng said, after his lifespan grew. Back on Earth, China's Mid-Autumn Festival became less and less important, because Luo Feng would train for years and decades, even exceeding 6,000 years this time. Hence Luo Feng's return was the Luo family's reunion dinner. Go. Go. His family said, after all against an emperor-level undying. Just that formless pressure alone made these normal people, undying level and below, unless one had a heaven-defying willpower and consciousness. Otherwise, before an emperor-level undying, they were indeed just normal people, feel a sense of submission. As for Luo Feng, his willpower surpassed many knights of the universe. He was the leader of Earth's bloodline that had survived through life and death. In the tea pavilion, the scenery wasn't good, the wind blew, the tea was cold, there were no servants. King Swordplay just sat there, waiting patiently. At this time, a silhouette walked over from the distance. This made King Swordplay look up. With one look he immediately smiled and stood up, standing at the entrance of the pavilion to welcome Luo Feng. As Luo Feng neared, King Swordplay immediately bowed. Your Majesty Luo Feng, this was indeed a disgrace to our Ross family. I've come to ask for forgiveness. Ask for forgiveness? Luo Feng glanced at him. In the alien battlefield, people like King Swordplay were like dogs to Luo Feng. He could kill them in one move. Back then he was able to get an emperor-level warrior as a servant. Now that he was even stronger, his vision was even higher. Even the Seven Sword Emperors, Tower Dragon Emperor, these absolute warriors whose names had spread throughout trillions of races, Luo Feng didn't fear them at all. As for this puny little King Swordplay? What kind of thin onion was he? King Swordplay said, Your Majesty Luo Feng, I've personally come to ask for forgiveness. However, there's one thing I have to make clear. Luo Feng was already sitting on the stone stool. I believe your Majesty is clear. I've been building my family for so long, I've been focused on training. The family's matters aren't up to me at all. King Swordplay said, Any family almost always has someone in charge. And the true founders of the family all place importance on training, rarely caring about the small matters. Right now the one in charge of my Ross family is my 7th-generation grandson, a normal undying with decent strength and management skills. King Swordplay said, Back then our Ross family and your Majesty's family had a conflict. The conflict grew. The final negotiation team was all arranged by my 7th-generation grandson. He hid everything from me. King Swordplay shook his head and sighed. This time your Majesty's words caused our Ross family to be in a mess. Only then did one of my descendants dare to send me a mail asking me how to resolve it. Only then did I know. I actually offended your Majesty's family. I was shocked back then. That trash actually dared to offend your Majesty's family. Does he want to destroy my Ross family? I used my God country teleportation to rush back. When I saw my 7th grandson, he smiled strangely when he saw me and self-destructed. King Swordplay said. Luo Feng sat there listening quietly. Are you done? Luo Feng looked at him. Your Majesty, I didn't manage my family properly, for such a thing to happen. However, this matter, as a newly appointed undying, I don't have the guts to offend your Majesty. King Swordplay said. You're innocent? Luo Feng looked at him. I'm guilty, but this matter wasn't instigated by me. King Swordplay said. I know too, there are many other races investigating your Majesty's information. I'm just a little King Swordplay. How would I dare interfere? Even if the other races had spies within us humans, they probably wouldn't bear to use them, instead using a normal undying from our Ross family, borrowing our family's strength to probe your Majesty's family. This to them is a small price to pay. However, no matter what, I'm guilty. I'm here to ask for forgiveness. King Swordplay flipped his hand and took out a list, respectfully placing it on the stone table. Luo Feng glanced at it. On the list were all sorts of apologies and compensations. It was considered a humble apology. Humph. Luo Feng snorted coldly and looked at King Swordplay. Are you done? King Swordplay was stunned, saying, Your Majesty, please speak. I don't care what happened within your Ross family. It has nothing to do with me. Luo Feng looked coldly at him. I only know if your Ross family offends me, don't blame me for not giving you a chance to live. The universe laws give you a chance to live, I'll give you a chance to agree to it, and your life will be spared. Luo Feng casually threw it out. He too threw out a list he had prepared earlier. When King Swordplay heard Luo Feng's words, his face went pale. As he glanced at the list, he stared wide-eyed. Chapter 9:12. Have you read it clearly? Luo Feng looked at him. Emperor Swordplay's body was huge. Luo Feng was like a small child before him. However, as an absolute warrior from Golden Mist Universe country, he was panicking. Looking at the list, he was stunned. At this time, Emperor Swordplay had no thoughts of resisting, only regret. I've read it clearly, Your Majesty. Luo Feng, this. Aye. Emperor Swordplay stuttered. There were 3 conditions on the list. First, the entire Ross family's businesses, companies and all assets, 99% of them would be transferred to the Luo family. The remaining 1% would be left to the Ross family. Within half a day, the Ross family would arrange for a team to come to 9-Star Bay to complete the transfer. Second, all the Ross family members involved in this conflict would be sent to the Luo family, allowing them to decide what to do with them. Third, 1 billion mixed elements as compensation. 99% of your family's assets, at least the remaining 1% of your Ross family, will be enough for your people to survive. Luo Feng looked at him. And I'm only asking for the people involved in this conflict, with less of these scum. It's actually better for your Ross family. As for 1 billion mixed elements, to a low-level emperor like you should still be able to take it out. These 3 conditions I've left some leeway, not forcing too much, that's already very benevolent. Luo Feng said. Emperor Swordplay was about to cry. Benevolent? My God! 99% of the family's assets, with this transfer, the huge amount of assets the Ross family had accumulated over countless years would all be gone, leaving only scrap. Your Majesty. Luo Feng, I'm only a low-level emperor undying. Many official pinnacle warriors wouldn't even have 100 million mixed elements even if they went bankrupt. I'm only slightly stronger than them. Even if I sell all my treasures, it would still be hard to gather 1 billion mixed element. Emperor Swordplay looked anxiously at Luo Feng, begging, Your Majesty, I'll naturally give it my all, however I really can't take it out. Luo Feng looked coldly at him. Emperor Swordplay was stared at by Luo Feng until he became silent. Remember, Luo Feng said coldly, these 3 conditions, if you do all of them, we'll let this matter go. If you can't, you know the consequences. Emperor Swordplay broke out in cold sweat. Understood. Emperor Swordplay nodded. Go, I'll give you 7 days to gather 1 billion mixed element. As for the transfer of the family assets, you'll have to arrange for someone to come to 9-Star Bay within half a day. Luo Feng waved his hand. Yes. Although the Sword Centipede King felt bitter, it could only leave obediently. Luo Feng looked at the Sword Puppet Emperor's seemingly desolate silhouette and laughed coldly within. Having roamed the foreign battlefields for so long, he was very clear on the normal Emperor beginner's wealth. Even though some beginner emperors might not be able to take out 1 billion mixed elements, this Sword Puppet Emperor was Jean Land's Knight's disciple. To be able to become a universe sage's disciple, how could the universe sage not give his disciple some weapons and treasures? It should not be difficult to gather a billion mixed element. Virtual universe, golden haze continent, within a luxurious mansion of the Ross family. In the silent hall, the sword centipede king sat alone on the throne in the hall. His face was very gloomy, and he was filled with rage and regret. I shouldn't have been greedy back then and allowed my subordinates to do that. I only received 100 million mixed element units of benefits, but now I have to pay so much. This Luo Feng sure is vicious. This gamble has failed. The sword centipede king was filled with hatred within. Back when Luo Feng disappeared, there were rumors that he had fallen. At the start, it was just a rumor spreading. Later on, the Luo family's internal movements made people suspect if Luo Feng had truly fallen. To investigate this point, infiltrating the Luo family, planting spies, there were all sorts of methods. There were also powers that used 100 million mixed elements to invite the Ross family to probe the Luo family. After all, the Ross family was controlled by the Sword Centipede Emperor. To have a conflict with the Luo family, how could this be something that the 7th-generation grandson could control? Behind the scenes, there was indeed the Sword Centipede Emperor's permission. He didn't dare directly offend Luo Feng. He just acted as a pawn and probed the Luo family. If he could get 100 million mixed elements, why not? If Luo Feng had fallen, the money would have been earned too easily. If Luo Feng hadn't fallen, he wouldn't have lost his life over this. What's more, he didn't show himself from start to finish. It was the 7th-generation grandson who was in charge. He just silently allowed it. Family leader. Family leader. In the shrine, over 100 upper echelon members of the Ross family appeared. They all knelt respectfully, their voices resounding within the shrine. Gazing at his clansmen below, the Sword Centipede Emperor's expression grew uglier. He thought, that Luo Feng is ruthless enough. He's clear that if he forces me too much, I'll flee to my teacher. After all, on the surface, it's just a small conflict. He has no way to force my teacher to hand me over. He doesn't dare offend a universe knight. Right now, he's basically forced me to my very limit. He hasn't killed me, but he's pushed me to my limit. 99% of the family's wealth has been taken away. Seemingly benevolently leaving 1%, I'd rather he take all of the family's wealth than ask for 1 billion mixed elements. Sword Centipede Emperor hated within. A family's greatest wealth was actually the strongest's wealth. Just like how the Luo family's greatest wealth was Luo Feng's. The shrine was silent. Over 100 upper echelon members of the Ross family knelt there. Sword Centipede Emperor gazed coldly below, his killing intent emanating. Quickly organize a team and head to Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay to meet the Luo family. We'll hand over 99% of the Ross family's wealth to the Luo family. Sword Centipede Emperor's voice was low. However, it was like a heavy hammer smashing on everyone's chest, causing the upper echelon of the Ross family to be stunned. What? 99%? Why doesn't he just rob? That's too much. The upper echelon of the Ross family immediately panicked. Sword Centipede Emperor roared fiercely, "Shut up! None of them dared make a sound. When we fought with the Luo family before, why didn't any of you stop them? And not even telling me?" Sword Centipede Emperor roared below. The upper echelon below all muttered within. Who among them dared to stop them back then? And 2 of them tried to contact Sword Centipede Emperor, but he shut down the virtual universe network at that time. They couldn't contact him at all. Quickly organize a team. Sword Centipede Emperor ordered. Yes. The conflict between the Ross and Luo family had long been noticed by many. When Sword Centipede Emperor gave the order to the upper echelon of the family and roared. Within half an hour, the news had spread from within the Roth family. The Ross family has retreated. Looks like Luo Feng has returned. 99% of the family's assets? It's probably just one of them. Luo Feng sure is ruthless, making the entire Ross family migrate. This is definitely a slap in the face. Sword Centipede Emperor has lost all his face. Ha ha ha, this Majesty Luo Feng is really soft-hearted and kind. He actually didn't kill them after returning. If it was me, I would have killed Sword Centipede Emperor. Brother, that Sword Centipede Emperor may very well be with Jean Lon Knight. Killing him won't be easy. Head ancestor, this Ross family is the strongest family in our Golden Mist Universe country other than the royal family. It's gone just like that? Their family controls so many starfields and countless planets, it's gone just like that? Right, it's gone. Just like that. Child, remember. The most important thing about a family is the absolute warrior that supports it. Like those middle-level civilizations, they are usually opened by a normal undying. If an undying falls, naturally the country will crumble. And such a superfamily, even Sword Centipede Emperor, has to lower his head. The family naturally has to sacrifice a huge amount of benefit. Head ancestor, looks like business and trade are secondary. The power of the strong is the most important. Right, it's not just within the human race, even between the countless races, it's all about the survival of the fittest. The stronger our human race is, the more treasures we have. And even if the weaker races get their hands on the treasures, they'll be forcefully taken. Hence, child, you have to work hard. One family with two absolute warriors, it'll be easier to continue. Yes, head ancestor. Regarding the Ross family in the Golden Mist Universe country, the large amounts of starfields, countless planets, countless companies and assets they controlled were all transferred to the Luo family. On the first day, this matter was known by many of the superfamilies in the universe. As time passed, as the commotion was too great, the empires, families, organizations etc. all knew about it. They too felt the tyranny of the Luo family. They weren't to be trifled with. Dad, I salute you. Dad. Uncle. Uncle. Within 9-Star Bay, Luo Feng's entire family was gathered together, including his younger brother Luo Hua's wife and children were at the table. Even though Luo Hua only had one wife, he had 9 children. After all, unlike Luo Feng who roamed outside, his younger brother Luo Hua had always stayed at home. After a long time, he had more children. The large table was bustling with noise and excitement. Ha ha! Luo Feng stood up, laughing and accompanying the younger generation to drink. Hua, after so many years, you've even got a few more children. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at the group of youths. Look at how long you've been gone for, 6,000 years. Luo Hua smiled too. Su Xian glanced at Luo Feng too. Luo Feng was speechless. Ooh. It was him who didn't spend much time with his wife. However, he was a sector lord. The stronger he got, the harder it was to have children, and Su Xian's body had changed. It would be hard for her to have another child. The family ate happily. Very quickly, the children left. Luo Feng and Su Xian were whispering to each other. Su Xian, when I'm not at home, there needs to be a strong warrior in the family. I'm preparing to nurture some undying level plant life forms. Luo Feng said. Su Xian stared at him unhappily. Waiting for you, how long will that take? Didn't you leave the family 50 billion mixed elements before? The family has discussed and taken out a portion. We already have Sector Lord Level 9 Cloud Contact Vine and Star Eating Grass, nurturing 3 of them to become undyings. One of them has official level power. Luo Feng was speechless. Good, good. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. As for the safety of the family, wait till I return from the outer region battlefield. I'll make arrangements. I've stayed at home for a long time. I'll focus on the outer region battlefield matters. Go, your matters are more important, Su Xian said. Luo Feng smiled. This time, he had spent a total of 3 days with his family in the virtual universe. It was to make it up to them. As for dealing with Sky Formation Emperor? 6,000 years had passed. 3 more days wouldn't matter. Good, I'll return once I'm done. Luo Feng kissed his wife and smiled, vanishing into thin air, his consciousness leaving the virtual universe. P.S. 2 chapters completed. This week, due to the 2 late chapters and the start of the new chapter, I've missed a total of 4 chapters. I'll make it up tomorrow and Saturday 4 chapters. Chapter 9:13. Outside the battlefield, within the ancient star pagoda. Within the palace, Luo Feng alone used the virtual universe to give an order to Heavy Arrow Emperor. Heavy Arrow, sense my location and send the god country over. A few seconds later, a blurry light lit up within the palace, rippling space, and a silhouette appeared. It was the tall and skinny Heavy Arrow Emperor wearing a mask. He immediately bowed respectfully upon seeing Luo Feng. Greetings, master. Luo Feng nodded. Simultaneously, he felt a thought from the star pagoda, whether to kill the intruder. Obviously, this palace was already considered the core of the star pagoda. It forbade outsiders from entering. The moment one did, the star pagoda could use its own energy to kill the intruder. As for the forbidden spaces, countless warriors of the universe were allowed to enter. Don't kill. Luo Feng communicated with the star pagoda. The star pagoda was known as one of the universe's strongest treasures. However, a weapon was ultimately still a weapon. Its intelligence was still very low. Its thinking speed might be comparable to an AI, however its emotions were like a 2 to 3-year-old child. Back then, did Sky Formation Emperor's matter get exposed? Luo Feng asked. Master, no. Heavy Arrow Emperor said respectfully, if it wasn't for Master's reminder, I wouldn't have discovered it. That Sky Formation Emperor was extremely cunning. Only after I carefully observed did I discover that Qi Wu Emperor's death was indeed a coincidence. Moreover, once King Qi Wu died and I escaped, the strength of the Demon Clan's team is definitely superior to ours, and we only have Sky Array King left on our side. Logically speaking, Sky Array King should be dead, but he's alive and well. Luo Feng nodded. Not being exposed was within expectations. From his interactions with Sky Formation Emperor, this person was definitely very scheming. Even if he wanted to ambush him, he would only do it at the last moment. If it wasn't for his strong willpower and hypnotism, he might have really succeeded. Star Pagoda. Luo Feng began to contact the Star Pagoda, search for human undyings. Within the palace that was surrounded by many ceiling stars, Luo Feng closed his eyes and sat crossed-legged, communicating with the Star Pagoda. Heavy Arrow Emperor stood respectfully behind him. The entire Star Pagoda has a total of 359 human undyings. At the same time, information was transmitted into Luo Feng's mind, images appeared. It was a human warrior battling within the Star Tower, training and conversing with his comrades. These were all humans. Even though there were hundreds of thousands of undyings in the Star Tower, those that were truly humans were few and far between. Soon, he finished reading everything. No Heaven Array King? Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Star Pagoda, check carefully. Is the person on the screen on my arm within the pagoda? Simultaneously, the image that appeared on the screen was that Sky Formation Emperor. There's no one in the tower. This human had already left 1800 years ago, the Star Tower transmitted telepathically. Already left? Luo Feng opened his eyes and suddenly stood up. Master. The Heavy Arrow King took a step forward and said respectfully, Are we dealing with the Sky Array King? He's not in the Star Tower now. Luo Feng shook his head. This Star Tower was his home ground. In here, he would have a huge advantage. However, his life and death inheritance was simply too long. Over 6,000 years, many absolute warriors would usually only roam the battlefield outside for 10,000 years. Sky Formation Emperor leaving was very normal. I've left the Star Tower. I wonder if I'm still in the foreign battlefield. Or maybe I've returned to the human domain. Luo Feng shook his head. his eyes gleaming fiercely. Very good, even if I've left the foreign battlefield, that's even better. I'll still chase after you. Master, what do we do next? Heavy Arrow King asked. Don't rush. Luo Feng smiled. That Sky Formation Emperor is after all a member of the Great Alliance. Many of my friends are his friends too. Even though I can't directly contact him, through my friends it's still very easy to find out where he is. When that time comes we can make our move. However, before that, I still have one more thing to do. Heavy Arrow King was suspicious. Luo Feng turned to look outside the shrine. In the vast space the stars were rolling. I'll train and catch some soul slaves along the way. He was the master of the Star Tower. Even though he couldn't control the entire Star Tower, using the convenience of his home ground, it was still very easy. Luo Feng could use the Star Tower to clearly know where the hundreds of thousands of undyings from all over the universe were. He could even arrange for the Star Tower to send him there. As long as I'm willing, I can choose any foreign warrior to battle. And during the battle, there definitely won't be any new exit. Even if it's 1 day, 10 days, or even 1 month, there won't be any. Such conditions, how can I miss it? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed with ambition. Adventuring in the universe, having comrades and servants was extremely important. However, it was extremely difficult to obtain a powerful servant. You had to encounter a servant that you could deal with and not let the opponent escape. Moreover, direct soul control could only be done by a master of the soul, and there were very few masters who specialized in the soul aspect. Other than that, there was only one stupid method: kill until the opponent falls into a deep sleep and control. However, this method had many weaknesses. Kill until the opponent falls into a deep sleep? The opponent could very well sense danger and self-destruct. Secondly, how could he coincidentally fall into a deep sleep? If he overdid it, he could very well kill the opponent. Secondly, even if he succeeded, controlling a sleeping undying, how long would he have to wait for the sleeping undying to recover and have a powerful servant? If he used precious treasures to help it recover and awaken, the price would be too high. Anyway, to control a powerful undying, especially one that was close to his own strength, was extremely difficult. Usually only the spirit masters had a higher chance of doing so. In the universe, how can I meet so many warriors as I please? And how can I casually pick the strong like this? The timing and location are all on my side. It all depends on whether or not I have the ability to capture servants. Luo Feng sensed the star pagoda and communicated with it. He began to search for the absolute warriors of the alien race undyings within. His target was obviously those at the limit of the Emperor level. With his current strength, dealing with the Life-Destruction Emperor and the 7-Blade Emperors as slaves was simply wishful thinking. As for the Emperor's pinnacle, Luo Feng didn't bother with them, unless they were Emperor Pinnacle Spirit Masters. Hence Luo Feng set his sights on the Pinnacle Emperor level and the Pinnacle Emperor level Soul-type Master. It's him. Luo Feng revealed a smile. Demon Camp, Crow Clan, Black Crow Emperor, Pinnacle Spirit Master, my first target. There were many restricted areas within the Star Tower, Within one of the restricted areas, the wind howled and snow filled the sky. Within the endless snow, there were 3 blurry silhouettes, occupying the snowy ground. Our luck is really bad. That last Emperor-level human who was the slowest to escape, just as we were about to kill him, we didn't expect him to break free from the Black Crow Emperor's soul control and escape. A tortoise-like stone creature with a malevolent head roared, its blood-red eyes filled with ferocity. Despicable. Another creature growled in a similar manner. These two had come from the periphery of the universe. They had temporarily joined the demon race's camp, the Horned Armored Ho race. The Horned Armored Ho race was a type of rock-type lifeform. These 2 peak-stage king-ranked Horned Armored Ho race formidable martial artists had one thing in common with rock-type lifeforms: their defenses were very strong. The number of horned armored Ho race that joined the battlefield was already very few, and the number of Emperor-level warriors within the Star Tower were even fewer. Within the Star Tower, there were only 3 Emperor-level warriors. They were the famous horned armored Ho brothers. "Be patient," a hoarse voice rang out. This was a life form with a face full of black fur, only revealing a single jade-green eye, looking like a huge bird. He was Black Crow King, the leader of this small team. "There are hundreds of thousands of foreign race undying beings within the Star Tower. We have plenty of chances. As long as we are patient, we will definitely succeed." The 2 horned armored Ho experts roared. It was a form of agreement. Black Crow King suddenly turned his head to look afar. The 2 horned armored Ho experts also turned their heads to look. A space tunnel suddenly appeared in the distance. "I was right, we must be patient, isn't this the prey?" Black Crow King said hoarsely. "Goo, goo!" The 2 horned armored Ho experts let out excited roars, their eyes flashing with ferocity as they looked afar. Although they were filled with killing intent, without seeing the target, they didn't dare to act recklessly. Who knows, it might be the demon camp, or it might even be stronger than them. In the snow far away, a figure suddenly appeared. Black Crow King and the horned armored Ho brothers looked carefully, only to see that the figure looked like a human. He had silver wings and was covered in silver armor, stepping in the air. "It's a human!" the horned armored Ho brothers roared. "Blade River King!" Black Crow King's expression changed slightly. Blade River King was famous, causing him to be wary, but it wouldn't make him give up just like that. "Haha, to actually meet Black Crow King here." The silver-armored, silver-winged youth stepped in the air, his laughter causing the space to tremble. "Blade River King!" Black Crow King laughed ear-piercingly. "Where's your slave Heavy Arrow King? Summon him too." What? A silhouette appeared beside. It was the tall and skinny-masked Heavy Arrow King. This caused Black Crow King's laughter to become even sharper. "Ha ha ha, very good, human Blade River King, if I kill you, I'll earn big." At the same time, Black Crow King transmitted, "Horned armored Ho brothers, I'll leave that Heavy Arrow King to you guys. I'll deal with that Blade River King. Don't worry, although we brothers aren't his opponent, we can stall him for a while. We'll definitely be fine." The horned armored Ho brothers were confident. Both sides were filled with killing intent. Heavy Arrow King stood respectfully beside Luo Feng. Luo Feng smiled as he watched this scene. Choosing a team, one had to choose a team with similar strength. Otherwise, if the opponents saw that he was the Blade River King, wouldn't they be scared off? "Let's see just how strong the star map is." Luo Feng flipped his left hand. The star map was infused in his left palm. One could even see with the naked eye the star imprint on his palm. At this time 6 black balls floated out from his palm and floated above it. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 9:14. The battle began in an instant. The Heavy Arrow Emperor immediately teleported to Black Crow Emperor's side. Almost at the same time, one of the 2 warriors from the horned armored Ho race too used the space lock. At the same time, the 2 behind the Black Crow King had their turtle shells bulge with a thick layer of armor, like 2 fortresses. Rumble, space trembled. The 2 warriors from the horned armored Ho race were like 2 moving fortresses, crushing through the universe space and surrounding the Heavy Arrow Emperor. "Black Crow Emperor, finish off that Blade River Emperor. The 2 of us can at most hold the Heavy Arrow Emperor for a while. You have to finish the battle quickly." The 2 horned armored Ho race warriors communicated anxiously. "Don't worry." Black Crow Emperor communicated. At the same time, the Heavy Arrow Emperor teleported. Black Crow Emperor and Luo Feng's battle erupted. One relied on the Fire God Crystal to blow up Purple Zhong Emperor. The Heavy Arrow Emperor fell into a deep slumber, becoming famous in one battle. This Blade River King, only his defense is heaven-defying. It's even stronger than ordinary peak-titled emperors. Moreover, that battle blade of his is also extremely powerful. He once killed more than 10 titled emperors and immortals. I can't let his battle blade touch me. Black Crow King was very clear about the Blade River King's information. The Blade River Emperor's battle that made him famous had long spread. According to that battle, the Blade River Emperor's strong points were dissected. One was that his defense was strong, able to withstand the explosion of the strongest fire god crystal. 2 was that the blade was special, it should be a special weapon. These 2 points also meant the Blade River Emperor was rich, having the strongest fire god crystal and a special blade. It's all external strength, against soul attacks it won't work. Become my slave. Black Crow Emperor's jade-green eyes flashed with madness, looking at the distant Luo Feng. He immediately unleashed his soul hypnosis technique. The invisible soul hypnosis technique immediately pierced through Luo Feng's general armor. After its power was weakened, it still entered Luo Feng's body. Howl, the origin crystal ball within Luo Feng's body had long formed a beast god. It had a single horn, 4 thick hooves and a long tail. This was the miniature beast god. Within the miniature beast god's body, there was even a pearl within. However, just this soul technique alone wasn't enough to force the pearl to come out. The miniature beast god roared softly and unleashed the beast god roar of the 4 great techniques of the 7 transformations of the god. Under his powerful will, this roar contained boundless might. The soul illusion technique was directly shattered. Go! Luo Feng's left palm carried 6 floating black balls. Every one of them was about the size of a marble. On it were traces of origin law engravings. The seemingly normal black balls. Who would have thought that these marble-like black balls were actually the incomparably terrifying treasure-sealing stars? These were much stronger than actual stars. Smashing a star, shattering it. However, it had shrunk to the size of a marble. In Luo Feng's palm, it was nothing special. Following the activation of his powerful telekinesis, the 6 black balls lined up in a straight line and shot towards the Black Crow King in the distance as fast as lightning. My soul illusion was broken, those 6 black balls. Not good. When the Black Crow King saw the 6 black balls shooting over, they actually caused a spatial passageway to appear in the universe. The spatial passageway was extremely neat, as though the universe had specially split open a passageway to allow the 6 black balls to move forward. How could the Black Crow King not know what this scene represented? Hula! The Black Crow King wanted to dodge. However, the black balls were extremely fast. Even with Luo Feng's Wu Killer Wings, it was hard for him to dodge. After all, spirit weapons were usually much faster than warriors. Pung! The Black Crow King did not panic in the face of danger. In his hand, a ghastly white shield with strange carvings appeared. The first black ball directly bombarded the shield with a terrifying impact. With a crackling sound, the Black Crow King's arm that was holding the shield was shattered by the impact. Almost at the same time, the second black ball also smashed on the shield. Ping! The shield left his hand and became a beam of light that vanished into the endless snow storm. Pung! 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 The next 4 black balls smashed into the Black Crow King's body. Even though the Black Crow King tried his best to defend, he felt that these 4 black balls were shockingly heavy. The force of impact when they smashed into his body was much stronger than the impact he received on Neutron Star back then. In an instant, it caused his incomparably strong bones and muscles to shatter. Chi! The Black Crow King spat out blood. His entire body's bones and muscles were shattered. Fresh blood dyed his entire body green. However, in an instant, the Black Crow King's body had completely recovered. It's no use. An Emperor Pinnacle undying body isn't so easily destroyed. The Black Crow King stared hard at the distant Luo Feng. Emo roar. Rumble. A terrifying soul attack immediately pierced through Luo Feng's armor. Its power was reduced by 90%. following which, the miniature beast god that was infused with Luo Feng's powerful willpower roared. The soul attack was completely dispersed. It couldn't even touch the miniature beast god at all, much less cause any damage. Luo Feng, who was attacked, was satisfied within. The star map's power is truly powerful. I didn't even use the origin laws before. I just relied purely on my powerful willpower and spirit energy, along with the 6 sealing stars themselves. I actually managed to smash the Black Crow King so hard that he couldn't even defend. The star dowlaying diagram was a priceless treasure. Every single sealing star was heavier than a neutron star. Luo Feng just relied on his powerful willpower and spirit energy to activate it, and it had such power. This test made Luo Feng extremely satisfied. This was the benefit of a treasure. Compared to the Wu slaying wings, this star map that was formed from the many sealing stars and the picture scroll made it much easier for Luo Feng to unleash his power. In terms of control difficulty, this was actually the difficulty of controlling a treasure. However, its power was enough to enter the threshold of a treasure. Test complete. Begin hunting. Luo Feng looked coldly at the distant Black Crow Emperor, controlling the 6 black balls. The engravings on the surface of the 6 black balls were activated, immediately triggering the universe origin laws in an instant. A huge beast god silhouette appeared amidst the snow and wind. It had a single horn, thick 4 hooves and a long tail, only its right claw gathered the 6 black balls. It was incredibly clear. The beast god descends, sky-tearing claw. Isn't this Blade River Emperor famous for his blade work? The Black Crow King was scared out of his wit. At this time, the 6 black balls were activating the endless universe origin law energy. Their power immediately skyrocketed. Selah. The huge claw tore through and the Black Crow King was immediately torn to pieces. The powerful claw energy even tore the pieces into pieces. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed as he watched from afar. This is the time. Another black ball appeared in his left palm, only this one had a purple glow on it. It was the sealing stars that had been smeared with Famous poison. The star layout had been infused with 100 sealing stars, and Luo Feng had only activated a few of them at this point. Hence, 10 of them had been smeared with the venom. Xiao! This black ball with a purple halo turned into a stream of light and shot towards the Black Crow King that had turned into powder. Endless powder was condensing, and just as half of it was condensed, the embryonic form of the divine body was formed. The black ball instantly pierced through it. Attacking is useless. Ah no. The Black Crow King felt his god body being madly corroded. In an instant, he had lost 52% of his god body. It was already more than half. This made him completely terrified. Flee! 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 The Black Crow King immediately communicated to his companion. Flee! The 2 warriors from the Heavy Arrow Emperor that had transformed into 2 indestructible forts were shocked. However, as they roamed the battlefield outside, their reactions were extremely fast and they immediately decided to flee. Rumble! The moment the Black Crow King's strength was greatly reduced, a powerful spirit energy rushed into his body. 10,000 soul controlling technique. In the distance, Luo Feng stared hard at the Black Crow King. He was able to unleash the 10,000 soul controlling technique. In Luo Feng's plan to control the Black Crow King, he would first use the Famous venom to heavily injure the opponent, causing him to have less than 10% of his original strength. Then, he would use the 10,000 soul controlling technique to forcefully control him. This was the only method, he had no other choice. If he wanted to kill the Black Crow King and use the venom to injure him twice? However, the Famous venom could destroy 30% to 80% of an Emperor Pinnacle warrior's body in one shot. Luo Feng had no way of precisely controlling how much of the opponent's body would be destroyed. Who knows, if 2 black balls passed through the opponent's body, the opponent would die immediately. Even if he was lucky and the Black Crow King was in a deep slumber. However, even if he could control an undying that was in a deep slumber, would he have to spend over 100 billion mixed elements to completely recover? To the current Luo Feng, spending over 100 billion on an undying slave wasn't worth it. After all, he already had the heavy arrow emperor. Looking at it all, the best method was to first use the venom to attack once, heavily injuring the opponent. After which, he would use the 10,000 soul controlling technique to forcefully control him. My willpower and consciousness are extremely strong. General soul support. Controlling this 10,000 soul controlling technique, its power is naturally extremely strong. And the Black Crow King's current strength is probably not even 10% of before. I have a high chance of controlling him. Luo Feng went all out, staring hard at the Black Crow King and forcefully trying to control him. The Black Crow King's body fell from mid-air and landed in the snow below, not moving at all. However, within his soul, the two were engaged in an intense exchange. Trying to control me? No. I'd rather die. Maybe I'll have a chance to revive in the future. Once controlled, there'll be no chance of revival. Break! Break! The Black Crow King roared within. His entire soul was madly struggling, finally breaking free from Luo Feng's forceful control. Explode! The moment the Black Crow King broke free, he immediately detonated his undying body. A terrifying shockwave immediately spread in all directions, engulfing the entire forbidden space. The endless snow immediately turned into nothing. Even the two horned armored Ho warriors were injured from this. As for Luo Feng and the heavy arrow emperor, they were naturally unharmed. Failed? Luo Feng stood in mid-air, not even looking at the treasures left behind by the Black Crow King. He only sighed. To control a powerful undying slave that's close to my own strength, it's indeed very difficult. Strength, intricate planning, luck, not a single one can be lacking. Master. Heavy Arrow Emperor communicated. Kill the two of them. Luo Feng ordered. Yes. With a flip of his hands, the Heavy Arrow King took out the two curved sabers with a purple halo and charged at the two injured dragon-armored Ho race powerhouses. Chapter 9:15. With the Heavy Arrow Emperor's power and the Fei Mo venom, Luo Feng stood in the distance and casually threw 6 sealing stars over. Each star was incomparably heavy. Even though Luo Feng didn't use his origin laws, he could at least rely on these 6 black balls to hinder the escape of the two horned armored Ho race warriors. The result was obvious, they quickly fell. After killing the Black Crow Emperor and the other two, the Black Crow Emperor's treasures were valued at 30 billion mixed elements, and the two horned armored turtle's treasures added together were valued at about 18 billion mixed elements. I actually failed. I'll search for my next prey. Luo Feng's thoughts contacted the Star Pagoda, and it swiftly transmitted large amounts of information, allowing him to make his choice. Alright, my target is still an Emperor-level Pinnacle Spirit Master. Star Pagoda, open a path. Luo Feng looked ahead. What? An exit suddenly appeared within the tattered forbidden space. Luo Feng and Heavy Arrow Emperor immediately entered it and followed the path towards another forbidden space. Within that forbidden space, there were 4 Bug Clan warriors, one of which was an Emperor-level Pinnacle Spirit Master. Let's hope this time we'll succeed. Luo Feng prayed. 3 minutes later, this forbidden space was in a mess. The ocean water was all gone, the endless seabed was mostly gone. The silver-armored and silver-winged Luo Feng stood in mid-air. Heavy Arrow Emperor stood respectfully beside him. Master, the treasures are worth about 60 billion mixed element. Heavy Arrow Emperor said respectfully. Luo Feng nodded, after which he shook his head and sighed. I actually failed again. Master, you want to capture and control powerful soul masters. Those soul masters have been researching illusion techniques and soul-controlling techniques for countless years. Their understanding of soul research is incomparably deep. If Master wants to capture them, you will need a bit of luck. The Heavy Arrow King respectfully said, "But we also gained a lot. Killing too many warriors will incur the wrath of the masses, causing an absolute warrior to appear." Luo Feng said softly, "Hence we have to grasp the time." "Yes, master." Heavy Arrow Emperor's expression tensed up. Just like the universe, there were some unspoken but hidden rules. For example, Universe Knights could kill Emperor-level and official-level Undyings, those Undyings that dared to mess with the Knight. The Knight's pride couldn't be offended, naturally they had to be punished and killed. However, the Universe Knights couldn't wantonly slaughter the Undyings. If they did, this would incur the wrath of the masses, and the other venerables of the universe would appear to deal with him together. By the same logic, invincible titled kings like True Yen wouldn't even go to the Outer Realm battlefield. As for the Seven Sword Kings, the Pagoda Dragon King, the Life Destruction King, and the others, if they used their trump cards, they could easily kill a Peak Marquis or even a Limit Regis. However, it was fine to kill him a few times. Even killing him 10 times in a row was nothing. However, if he slaughtered too many, he would incur the wrath of the masses. After all, Peak Stage Kinkenford and Limited Stage Kinkenford were also the elites of their respective races. Since so many of them had been slaughtered, the super-existences of those races were naturally enraged. Luo Feng led the Heavy Arrow Emperor and began a cruel hunt on the first day. He fought 3 times and killed all of the alien enemies. He didn't succeed in controlling them even once, and the treasures he obtained were valued at around 160 billion mixed element. On the second day, they fought 3 times and killed all the outsiders. As for soul control, all of them failed, and the wealth gained was about 210 billion mixed element. On the third day, 4 days in a row, a total of 12 battles, the targets he chose were all Emperor Pinnacle Spirit Masters. In the end, all 12 of them fell. Not a single one of them succeeded. Out of these 12 waves, 9 of them spread the news that the killer was the Blade River Emperor, and the other 3 died too quickly, struggling with all their might. They didn't even have the time to spread the news. 9 consecutive Emperor Pinnacle Spirit Masters fell, and the killer was the Blade River Emperor. Luckily, the 9 that fell belonged to the 3 big camp. Every camp was hostile, so news didn't spread quickly in such a short period of time. However, within the 3 camps, the news spread that the Blade River Emperor had killed their own Emperor Pinnacle Spirit Masters. The Automaton camp had 4 killed. The Demon camp had 2 killed. The Bug camp had 3 killed. This Blade River Emperor is really powerful. A total of 4 Emperor Pinnacle Spirit Attack Warriors have fallen by his hands. I've long heard that his defense is very strong, even able to withstand the explosion of the strongest fire god Origin Crystal. I didn't expect him to be so strong against the attacks of absolute warriors in the soul area, killing 4 in a row. Material defense, soul defense. He's strong in both areas. This Blade River Emperor is really terrifying. Terrifying Blade River Emperor. The name of the Blade River Emperor, after over 6,000 years, was once again spreading. The last time, the Blade River Emperor used the strongest fire god Origin Crystal, Heavy Arrow Emperor Slave, and terrifying material defense to become famous. Many warriors didn't dare to underestimate him. However, they just didn't dare to underestimate him, even though he killed many. But no matter how one looked at it, the Blade River Emperor relied on external methods. However, this time, Emperor Pinnacle Spirit Masters fell one by one. This caused the Blade River Emperor and many warriors to feel fear. Material attacks? Soul attacks? If even the Blade River Emperor could deal with it, how could such a terrifying absolute warrior with almost no weaknesses be dealt with? Even though his name had spread, it didn't last too long, it didn't spread too far. Luo Feng's second hunt on the 5th day, within a forbidden space, on a scorching hot island, there was a person that looked like a human. However, under the armor was a godly body that was like a crystal diamond. His godly body was covered in little diamonds. With one look, he looked like a diamond man. He was lying on the island. Wang, the entire soul imprint on the Diamond Man's body was madly struggling, however due to the poison's corrosion. He was only left with 36% of his body. His strength was severely affected. And in these few days, Luo Feng only fought 3 times a day, and every battle lasted at most a few minutes. Then what was Luo Feng doing the rest of the time? He was researching the 10,000 soul control technique, infusing the mysteries of the origin laws into it, using it even more intricately. Time after time of research, Luo Feng's control gradually improved. Especially at the start there was a huge leap, but after 2 days, the improvement became much slower. However, at least it was much stronger than the first hunt. Submit. Luo Feng felt his target's resistance suddenly grow stronger. He wasn't anxious, he was happy instead. Rumble. Countless soul threads immediately invaded. Success. I've finally succeeded. Luo Feng's eyes revealed a look of glee. It wasn't easy. He had spent so much energy, and he even relied on the Star Pagoda to pick his opponent, yet it was so difficult to get his first soul master slave. Palo Wa Clan. Luo Feng looked at the Diamond Man. The Diamond Man stood up, looking at Luo Feng with a gaze of respect from his soul. At this time, Luo Feng was the closest existence to him. He immediately bowed respectfully. Master. Hm. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Heart Refiner Emperor. South. In the distance a silhouette flew over. It was the Heavy Arrow Emperor. He landed and said respectfully, Master, I've already killed the other 2 warriors. These are the treasures I've acquired. Ha 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 ha. Luo Feng, however, laughed out loud. Heavy Arrow Emperor saw the situation and looked at the Diamond Man Heart Refiner Emperor beside. He immediately said to Luo Feng, Congratulations, Master, acquiring Heart Refiner Emperor. It wasn't easy, spending so much time and energy, but I've finally succeeded. Luo Feng laughed happily. Luckily the poison's corrosion was extremely strong, causing Heart Refiner Emperor to use up a lot of his strength. Only then did I succeed. With Heart Refiner Emperor, it'll be much easier to acquire slaves in the future. With Heart Refiner Emperor, he could ignite his undying energy, causing his soul control to soar. That way, the chances of controlling a slave would be much higher. With Heart Refiner Emperor, my next target will be the limit of an emperor. Luo Feng was filled with ambition. I'll rest first, Heart Refiner, recover your strength first. Luo Feng took out some of the treasures that helped in recovering the body and gave them to Heart Refiner Emperor. After all, he had killed many Emperor Undyings before. Many of them had treasures that could recover the body. Obviously they were prepared for critical moments of danger, to recover his strength in a short period of time. At this time, Luo Feng was giving them to Heart Refiner Emperor. No choice. A fully recovered Heart Refiner Emperor was the most useful to Luo Feng. Everything went according to Luo Feng's plan. With Heart Refiner Emperor as a slave, the hunting efficiency was obviously much higher. The only problem was that he couldn't let the enemies ignite their undying energy. The moment they did, then even if Heart Refiner Emperor ignited his undying energy, it would be hard to control them. Before, without Heart Refiner Emperor as a helper, the moment the enemies ignited their undying energy, Luo Feng would immediately give up on hunting and kill them. Luo Feng relied on the Wu Slayer wings and the star map. He could easily destroy them. Heavy Arrow Emperor had the purple clock on him. He didn't fear the enemies igniting their undying energy. He could exhaust them to death. With Heart Refiner Emperor, Luo Feng's hunting success rate rose to 1/5 to 1/3. Hence, Luo Feng began to hide himself and not reveal himself, instead letting his subordinates do the hunting. With 2 Emperor-level warriors working with Heart Refiner Emperor, and with the treasures Luo Feng gave them, Fema Poison and the Sealing Stars, they could begin the hunting. Every time a sealing star appeared, it would cause a huge commotion. Practically every sealing star's whereabouts would be recorded. Hence, even though Luo Feng gave his subordinates the sealing stars, he strictly forbade them from using the sealing ability. only allowing them to shrink into a crystal ball and smash. Using a single sealing star to trigger the universe laws to smash, just the smashing effect, even though it was far from the sealing ability, its power wasn't weak. After all, the design, the sealing stars were meant to smash, to become a crystal ball and only be used for smashing. The other warriors couldn't recognize this as a sealing star. After all, the true usage of the sealing star was to become huge and seal the enemy within. And a crystal ball that was the size of a marble, smashing it was indeed impossible to recognize. The sealing star is connected to the star tower. We definitely cannot reveal it. You all, without my permission, are forbidden from using the sealing ability. Luo Feng gave a strict order, not just his subordinates, even he himself was only allowed to use the sealing ability. And Luo Feng definitely wouldn't give the sealing star to anyone else, only for his own use. He could only temporarily bestow it to his soul slave when needed, after which he would have to take it back, to prevent the soul slave from being killed and other warriors obtaining the sealing star. Even his teacher Tru Yen, Luo Feng didn't give it to him. After all, the star tower was very important, any bit of danger couldn't be gambled on. This time he was hunting within the star tower, this was his own territory, everything was under his control. That was why Luo Feng was confident enough to temporarily bestow the sealing star to his soul slave. Without a doubt, the hunting results made Luo Feng happy. Chapter 9:16. The hunt lasted for a total of a month, of which the first 8 days were 3 battles a day, the latter half of the month was maintained at 1 battle a day. In this month of hunting, Luo Feng participated in every battle for the first 6 days, and he was even the main force. But after that, Luo Feng hid himself and let his subordinates fight. Even though Luo Feng's participation might decrease a little, it didn't affect them too much. And by doing this, Luo Feng was also trying to avoid trouble. After all, if he were to show himself, and he was the leader, killing so many warriors, if he incurred the wrath of the masses, then he would be in big trouble. 1 month, a total of 46 battles. This also caused the number of warriors under Luo Feng to increase from the initial heavy arrow emperor to a total of 9. Meaning, this time's hunting plan allowed Luo Feng to acquire a total of 8 warriors as his servants. Congratulations, Master! Master, these are the treasures we've collected. The soul servants were absolutely loyal, all the treasures and wealth they collected were given to Luo Feng, their own treasures and wealth too were given to Luo Feng, after which Luo Feng would arrange and distribute them to the warriors under him. Even though these 46 battles gave Luo Feng a huge amount of wealth, however the 9 warriors under him had to rely on himself to raise their strength, this made Luo Feng feel the pressure. The storm caused by Luo Feng had already engulfed the entire star tower. At the start, Luo Feng led the heavy arrow emperor to massacre. The news spread within the 3 large alien camp. At that time, Luo Feng didn't kill much in each camp, even though it made Luo Feng's reputation rise. The entire star tower was still relatively peaceful. However, as time passed, day after day, the news of Luo Feng killing many warriors from the other camps slowly spread. This caused an uproar. In 6 days, 18 battles, the news spread to 13 of them. Adding up the number of undyings from the many camps that died to the Blade River Emperor, there were about 40, of which there were 13 Pinnacle Emperor-level Soul-type Masters or Ultimate Emperor-level Warriors. As the news spread, the entire Star Tower was in an uproar. The alien battlefield was originally a place of slaughter. The warriors weren't timid, they wouldn't be afraid of the Blade River Emperor's strength. The Blade River Emperor's actions had indeed angered the masses. Many experts of different clans formed large groups, each of them wanting to find the Saber River King and the Heavy Arrow King, wanting to kill the Saber River King. The hundreds of thousands of foreign race undyings within the Star Tower became much more intense because of this. The more intense the battle, the higher the chances of dying. But, however, the Saber River King that many of the foreign race powerhouses were looking for had disappeared. In the following battles, no one had found the Saber River King. In truth, Luo Feng's enslaved warriors had a few identities that hadn't been revealed yet, hence he arranged for 2 or 3 of them to team up and hunt. Every day, there would only be one battle. Along with the fact that Luo Feng didn't participate, no one counted these battles on Luo Feng. The atmosphere in the Star Tower became a little crazy. Because of this massacre that the Saber River King had started, after the Saber River King disappeared, and because he had secretly sent a powerful servant, there were still peak stage conferred king-class soul-type adepts and limitless conferred king-class formidable martial artists who had fallen. These super formidable martial artists had fallen naturally. The atmosphere became crazy. It's too crazy. Even the peak stage and limitless conferred king class have fallen. We should leave the Star Tower for now. Haha, this is a chance encounter. With the death of the strong, we have the chance to obtain huge amounts of wealth. Kill. This is a rare chance to battle. Usually, when we meet a tough situation, we retreat. How boring. The current Star Tower is the true killing ground. Some of the fearful and cowardly ones quietly left the Star Tower, but some of the bloodthirsty, warlike, and confident experts instead rushed into the Star Tower, causing the chaos within the Star Tower to become even more intense. There were also many experts who had been searching for their target, the Blade River King, but unfortunately, they couldn't find him. Within the forbidden space, a glaring golden armor, his body glowing with a black light. At first glance, he looked like a robot. This cold automaton was the super warrior from the automaton race who had just arrived at the Star Tower, the Life Destruction Emperor. To actually be able to kill so many peak stage conferred king-class warriors who specialize in the soul, and so many limitless conferred king-class. Adding them up, there are more than 10. There are also many other Regis and Immortals. The Life Destruction Emperor's voice was sonorous and forceful. His eyes flashed with fighting spirit. Such an opponent is worthy of me fighting. The 6 powerhouses that followed him all bowed respectfully. The reason I came here is for the Saber River King. The Life Destruction Emperor's fighting spirit blazed. For someone at his level of strength, he didn't have much interest in dealing with a super powerhouse like a limitless conferred king. If he wanted to deal with someone, he would have to deal with someone with a special lucky chance, or someone with a great treasure, or someone with a special combat ability. In short, he had to be special. The last time the Sealing Star had appeared, the Life Destruction Emperor hadn't been able to kill the 7 Sword Kings. This had caused him great regret. To deal with the 7 Sword Kings, the Pagoda Dragon King, and other super powerhouses, he didn't have much confidence. But to deal with the Saber River King, who had just risen to prominence and was even more famous than a normal limitless Regis, he still had confidence. My lord, we can't find the Saber River King. We've contacted many of our allies, but none of them have been able to find the Saber River King. The Life Destruction Emperor's eyes flashed with anger as he listened to his subordinate powerhouses. He roared out, "That cowardly Saber River King stirred up a storm and killed over a dozen Peak Regis and Peak Regis powerhouses. Then, he actually disappeared? Did he leave the Star Tower? Search for me. My machine race has powerhouses scattered throughout the battlefield. I want to offer a bounty of 1 billion Yulan units for anyone who can find the Saber River King's coordinate. Once his coordinates are confirmed, the reward will be 1 billion Yulan unit." Yes. Yes, my lord. The 6 subordinate powerhouses all responded. Saber River King. The Life Destruction Emperor's eyes flashed with an ominous light. The Life Destruction Emperor was well aware that if the Saber River King was able to kill so many powerhouses, he must have had some special lucky chance or some great treasure on him. Moreover, just the wealth obtained from killing so many powerhouses was not a small number to the Life Destruction Emperor. Once he killed the Saber River King, It was likely he would obtain a great treasure, as well as a massive amount of wealth. He certainly wouldn't give up on Luo Feng so easily. Saber River King? Search! Find out where the Saber River King is. The Pagoda Dragon King also had his eyes on the Saber River King. If he could kill the Saber River King and obtain his treasures, why not? This storm had arisen because of the Saber River King. Although he had killed more than 10 super formidable martial artists and many conferred kings, the Saber River King himself was only so strong. Killing those peak conferred kings could not be considered a massacre. In addition, he had not killed too many peak conferred kings either. Thus, some super formidable martial artists would not interfere. But, for instance, the Life Destruction Emperor, Pagoda Dragon King, Black Tomb King, and other extremely famous existences in the foreign battlefields had their eyes on the Saber River King. What kind of strength matched what kind of fame? Since the Saber River King dared to do such a thing, then the Life Destruction King, Pagoda Dragon King, and all the other powerhouses were clearly trying to test him. He didn't need to defeat the Life Destruction King or any other powerhouse. As long as he could escape from their clutches, that would be proof of his strength. Virtual Universe, Luo Feng's Manor. There were only 2 people in the living room, Luo Feng and Tru Yen. Luo Feng, you've stirred up quite a storm this time. What are you doing causing such a commotion? Tru Yen stared at his disciple. The more famous you are, the stronger the powerhouses you attract. I'm guessing, the Black Tomb King, Pagoda Dragon King, and the others have their eyes on you. It's nothing. Luo Feng smiled. It's nothing. Tru Yen couldn't help but shake his head. Look, who knows how many of those foreign powerhouses want to kill you? And in the Great Alliance, you're quite famous. There are often powerhouses that want to befriend you. For instance, they'll invite you to explore some extremely dangerous secret realms in the universe. Fame also represents strength. If you don't have the strength, then you'll die. Tru Yen looked at Luo Feng. This disciple has had a fortuitous encounter. Luo Feng smiled and comforted his teacher. Tru Yen was stunned. A fortuitous encounter? Could it be that you have the confidence to face the Life Destruction Emperor, Black Tomb King, and the others and escape unscathed? Tru Yen couldn't believe it. His disciple was powerful, but the Black Tomb King, 7 Sword Kings, and the others all had their own fortuitous encounters. Which one of them didn't have many treasures? Their strength was terrifying. I'm confident. Luo Feng nodded without hesitation. Tru Yen looked shocked at Luo Feng. After which he shook his head. Forget it, forget it. Since you're so confident, let's see how you do it. This disciple will definitely work hard and not disappoint teacher. Luo Feng smiled. Ever since he became famous, many people tried to befriend him. However, Luo Feng just casually dealt with them. Only his teacher, Tru Yen, Luo Feng had to deal with him properly. Within the star tower, within the palace that was surrounded by large amounts of ceiling stars, the silver-armored and silver-winged Luo Feng stood there. Behind him stood a row of absolute warriors, a total of 9. They were Heavy Arrow Emperor, an Emperor Sealed Limit Warrior; Heart Refiner Emperor, an Emperor Sealed Limit Warrior; Zhenzhong Emperor, an Emperor Sealed Limit Warrior; Iron Flag Emperor, an Emperor Sealed Limit Warrior; Sad Charm Emperor, an Emperor Sealed Limit Warrior; Chukan Emperor, an Emperor Sealed Limit Warrior. Extreme Rainbow King was at the peak of the king-conferred realm. He possessed the precious treasure, Purple Clock. Mountain Howl Emperor, an Emperor Sealed Limit Warrior. King Fu Shui was at the peak of the conferred king realm. He possessed the precious treasure, Murky Ice Silk Net. These were the 9 warriors under Luo Feng. During the hunt, there were a total of 46 battles. The number of emperors they killed exceeded 100. When they killed an emperor sealed high-level Undying, they were actually lucky enough to discover that this high-level Undying had a treasure called the Muddy Ice Silk Net. On the other hand, None of the other Emperor's sealed limit warriors or spirit masters had treasures. According to the strength and battle styles of the warriors under him, they finally gave the muddy ice silk net to Fu Shui Emperor, and the purple clock was given to Extreme Rainbow Emperor, who was more suited to use it. P.S. 4 chapters completed. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian.com to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation.